to get your information. To Spoon, to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat kepa, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV. Yes, what you got today? Spoon TV.
Good evening, Liberia. Good afternoon to those of you in other parts of the world, in the US. And depending on where you are, let me say welcome to Liberia's biggest talk show on radio and online. The program Spoon Talk is back. Of course, another fascinating edition is on your radio. Encourage someone to listen with you. We're live on Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1 FM, Super 95.5 FM, and of course, Spoon TV live and on all the different platforms online. And Nelson Colette, let me say good evening to Dr. Richardson, James Goodeflomo, and Leo as well. Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, Nelson. Good evening, good day, and actually, hello, Leo Johnson. How are you guys doing? I just looked out to make sure that it's not good evening time where I am. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I looked out. It's not good evening yet. So how you guys doing?
Well, yeah, doing fine from my end.
God morning, me.
Oh, that's good. Leo, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Very, very well. Again, another beautiful day.
Absolutely. It's warm over here. Yesterday was the first day of spring, so hopefully the weather is cooperating. I wish I had time to be in my garden right now, but we're here. Today we are here to work for the Liberian people. There will be a lot of topics covered today. A lot of things on my mind. Our chat room was buzzing today, so that's when that tells me there's a lot of interesting things going on in Liberia. I want to start by just welcoming everybody to the show, all of our audience and listeners, our viewers. Join us in the chat session. You can put your comments in there. Just don't insult us. Stick to the issues. But if you have to use insults because your words are limited, that's okay. We understand. Yeah, that's the way you can express yourself. We really want Liberians to be a part of this conversation. I want to just go into trending issues. I will come back to welcome all of our viewers and listeners. They are an instrumental part of this show. So we want to just go back to Nelson to tell us, and Good Day to tell us what is going on in the country. One of the best part of coming to Spoon to listen to our program, we got resources on the ground. We got Nelson, we got Good Day, and a team of other people to tell us exactly what is going on in Liberia, play by play. You're not going to get that anywhere this time of the day or evening in Liberia. So that's why you tune into Spoon. Share this program, share the program, and again, participate in the conversation. Nelson, what's going on in
Yeah.
our country?
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. So many things happening. We woke up to this information about firstly the conversation around the selection of vice running mate is something that's been going on for some time in the country, and so Liberians have been talking a lot about this information. First, it was about the selection of Senator Jeremiah Kuhn, and then a local media report had it that one of the stalwarts of the Unity Party, in a timely manner, debunked that statement that the UP State Bureau has not selected Senator Kuhn to go as running mate. But then surfacing today was information, not even today, but yesterday and so forth, has been on information about the selection of Henry Costa. So it's something that a lot of people have been talking about. Mixed reaction on that particular happening is one of the issues. The next thing is today, the vice president of Liberia formed part of the dedication of a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, a company that is going to be producing medicines in the country. The vice president has termed that as a milestone for the health sector of our country. And of course, that's one of the big things that happened in the country today. Now, another one has to do with this bill. Some time ago, this pension bill was introduced at the legislature, and again, Liberians talked about it a whole lot. Different sections of that bill, especially the area that has to do with um, lawmakers who have served the country, uh, receiving X amount of dollars, even after they've left office, getting access to certain, protection in terms of security and a lot more. Well, the Civil Servants Association of Liberia today called on the President George Weah, to veto that bill, coming from the legislature. According to them, the instrument is wicked, is selfish, and it's not going to benefit the ordinary Liberians, and so that's been one of the issues that a lot of people have been talking about today. So basically, those are just a few. Now, one of our reporters, Diamond Slangat, complained about an assault on him today by a staffer of the NEC who was contracted to form part of this exercise, the ongoing voter registration exercise in the country. It happened in Cinco. And yes, there are some concerns about that as well. And yes, so basically, those are some of the happenings. Those are some of the happenings in the country that I can speak to. Maybe James will come in with other issues that.
Definitely. James, can you add on to what Nelson said? I also want to welcome Colonel Remy Gray to the show. I'm sorry, James. I want to welcome you, Remy Gray, Mr. Remy Gray to the show, Colonel Remy Gray to the show. We'll be going to introduce, to welcome our audience very soon. But James, go ahead. Please add on to the show.
Yeah, basically those are the major things that happen. And we listened to Costa today. Costa confirmed the news we've been hearing about him getting on the list of
Do we have that clip? I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I don't want to hear from your mouth. So please prepare that clip. I believe you, but we're in the media business.
And she acting like since she was born, she hear you.
I hear it. I hear it. I want to hear it from the
James said, making to all.
Making to all.
We gotta see all. We can't talk all. We gotta see and I believing. So cut. You want cut that part? You want cut any part? Just cut it. We'll play it here because
you really want making to all.
Any part you want put making see all, making talk all, making hear all that it will talk here today.
So today, Henry, senior brother Henry Costa confirmed that yes, some Liberians came together that they want him to go as running mate to VP Boakai, and I don't see anything wrong with that. He said, so it is an opportunity for him. He said if Boakai picks him, well, that's okay. If not, he will still support VP Boakai. And there was this question that one of the viewers asked about his stronghold. You know, there's this trouble behind Mr. Cummings, that Cummings not get stronghold in Liberia. And that's the only thing that Cummings lacking as we speak. So Costa said he owns a stronghold at the better people. The better people. Huh?
You say what? Continue.
Yeah, Costa said his stronghold or people who will vote him, the majority of those who will vote him are the better people. The better people are the largest tribe in Liberia, and Costa is also a better. So Costa said, if you want to know those who will vote for him, if you ask him, you know, when you talk about Senator Youngbley, you talk about Bassa, you talk about...
We're ready to follow our country now into different things now.
You talk... No, but these things are normal. Even in America, you'll get it. You'll get it blue
state.
You'll get it red state. You'll get states that vote for Democrat. You'll get states that go absolutely for Republican. You can't take it from there. That is
so why the better people never voted for Jeremiah Slaughter then when you were with Cummings?
What are you talking about?
Jeremiah Slaughter.
How about the last election that Costa ran?
The last election, Jeremiah Slaughter was vice president to Alexander Cummings. Why the better people for that better man?
The better because how you call her? The vice president, she won Bone County.
All the better people voted for the current vice president?
Yes, she won Bone County.
Jeremiah Salante won Bone County?
I said the current vice president of Liberia. Yeah? No, we should not be doing this.
So why the people never voted for Alexander Cummings? So why the people never voted for Alexander Cummings?
That is what people tell you. Cummings has no base as we speak currently. Because Cummings did not get any support for any specific.
Cummings and Grebo, man.
Cummings did not get the highest vote there because they have Grebo people.
All the better people will just vote for him. So Cummings and Grebo, man. What all the Grebo?
Hello. You have the current speaker, who is also a Grebo.
You are running for president.
Won our vote.
You are running for president.
For George Weah, he won the vote.
I want to hear it, I want to see it, I want to feel it, I want to talk it.
Yeah, so these things happen even in America. They have states that go strictly for Republican. You can't take it from them.
But it's not based on tribe. It's based on political ideology.
So you think another people own the ideology to the...
No, tribes are not ideology.
Ideology.
Some people voted for Joseph Boakai. You think I wanted to be voting for Joseph
Boakai.
They believe in political ideology. People voting for you.
Order, please. Thank you.
So, Dr. Richardson, I just wanted to chip in. One of those training issues in the country, as we know, today marked day 2 of the voter registration process. So Liberians have been complaining hugely about the slowness of the process. We've seen long queues at different centers across the country. But one report that has been filtering in is that the process has been a very slow one. A very slow one. I've been there for hours.
Yeah, man. I was hoping that things were going to improve.
Actually, Emma update.
Yeah, any update, James, because we gotta move. We gotta move along.
Specifically, Henry said the county that will go for him, or the group of people that will go for him, are the better people. And the better people from Bond County, they are the largest and partly better. Yeah, partly and better too. So the largest tribe in Liberia are the better people. So Henry said those are the people who will go for him because he's from there and they believe in his political ideology or whatever you may term it. So that is it. And we are now waiting on VP Boakai. VP Boakai has everything on his table now to decide who will go with him, whether Costa, Senator Yombly, Senator Kuhn, the three people, one will be his running mate in the October 10 election, presidential election specifically. So that is it.
Okay, thank you very, very much. I want to now, and I'd like to welcome Al Hussein Fadiga to the show. I also want to welcome Salimatu to the show. I want to thank you, Nelson, and thank you, Good Day, for bringing us the trending news in Liberia. We're going to move on to the welcoming portion of our program. We're going to just spend at least, it's already 4:17. If we can just do it as quickly, 3 or 2 names. We all, as panelists, can select from the list that you're seeing popping up. That would be great. Actually, I want to just start by, a lot of my cousins been calling me and they've been a great source of support. And one of the things, they are very silent viewers. I have 2 set of cousins. The Chinook side, they tend to be, I don't know, proud people. They don't like to talk. They're from Rawalsburg, but they're watching and they will call me after the show to talk. And then I have the other side, which are the Artington people. They're much more verbal and they've been calling me, like, my cousin Fairly Hill Gray. Then, of course, I have my in-laws, Lydia Jones, aka the female general of our family. She called me today. She said, "This is the female general calling. You never recognize me." My godfather, Mapu Riches, he's always supporting me, will be texting me questions. My sister-in-law, Richardson, my brother-in-law, Brother Rob, the Richardson's family, Thomas Awaji, my Chinawita family, his sister, Ayu Awaji, my Artington cousins, the Connecticut crew. And I see Councilor Pearl Bull is watching. She's not related to me, but I just want to acknowledge her on the show. She's legacy in Liberia. So I want to always acknowledge her when I see her. So that's enough for me. I just want you guys to please go ahead, recognize your friends and family. We'll start with Leo. Leo was on time today. Leo came in first, and then Colonel Greg came in, and then Salimatu, and then Fadiga. So can you guys just pick a few names, because we got to run with the show today.
Yeah,
let's do this before Mr. Falcon comes in, because he doesn't like me to be welcoming my cousin in before he comes.
So quick shout out to Edwin Sharif, watching us from Pinsville, Liberia. Princess Jala is also watching us from Accra, Ghana. We got Talib Vocals watching us from Modern Hotel, Liberia. Alex Cross watching us from Kakata. We also got Honorable George Watkins, who is following live from his comfort zone in District number 13. And we got Koyan Kolako as well, my own man, watching all the way from Monrovia, Liberia.
Good, thank you. I'm going to go to you now, Colonel Gray. 3 or 4 people, quickly. Can you see it?
Yes, I see. First person I see is Prince Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And seems as though his Prince just disappeared from my eyes anyway. So but he was watching from Liberia then. Mm-hmm. And Tapla Popo, Pupo? And I also see Stephanie Gabo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and Martin Ben Martin, another guy watching. So
from Uganda, we're in Uganda. We all the way from Uganda here. People are watching us. Great. Okay, let's move on to Salimatu. Anyone you'd like to welcome here?
Yeah, good afternoon again. And we come in and say hi to all our family people who watch me, because they can support us.
Yes,
friends, Robina Vincent, Religiously Watch the Spoon, Charlene Carey, she can be watching sometime and then behind the scenes. So my cousin Tina Bonner, great deal of support. My cousin Talita, who again, fan favor for Spoon. And to all my girls, some of the girls who don't want me to call their names, but they're watching. And I'm looking on here, looking for the women. I'm trying to be very biased. Yeah, I just seen the guy's name popping up, but nevertheless, I will start with Stanley Sando from Burville. Oh, the mother town. Burville, hello. And there's Archibald Zeze. He's watching from Nimba. There's Henfi Jala. Oro, hello, the my neighborhood. Dia Pee-wee, hello.
Australia.
Oh, from Australia, yes. Hello. We have a good friend, childhood friend there. Amy Stanley, who is in Australia. Hello. Joe May Jeppe, she's watching. Another woman, yay. Joe Cyphers here from Casablanca. Beautiful city. The other name, Papa Maja Jumbo, yeah.
I know.
Actually putting in a group. Okay. Valentine Mobile, watching from Liberia Agriculture Company in Grand Bassa County. Yes. Stanley, Southeast Asia. Charles Ja, Will Barton. Hey
Maka
guys.
said he didn't see her.
Who?
Maka.
In my area. Maka Randall. Maka is the
somebody from Istanbul.
Entrepreneur who can feed all of us in our Maryland area. So yeah, I put in the advert there for Maka. Call Maka. She has the high table. You go there on Saturday. We can talk politics. We can talk social issues, but it's all love. So yes,
I will stop. So now move on to Al Hussein Farigat.
I see your son Farigat watching.
Well, that's my twin. Oh, that's the one I can write. That's not the one.
We're not sure. Talking and seeing, I believe in you. We're not sure anyone you're talking today.
So that one is actually, we got a bunch of names. Well, I see all the haha names. When I pop by a name, I see one person called Gante. So it's Kuma Justina Gate, girl from New Jersey, USA. James Davis, James Davis looked at her name. Good afternoon from Dakula. I've never heard that name before. Dakula, Georgia. We got, I'll pass by that name. I'll say J Family. J Family, Hendricks. All right. And then I got Alfonso from Houston, Texas. I got George Korea Morris. I hope you're watching from Korea. Minneapolis, David D. Da from Minneapolis, and Jatu Kane from Iowa.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. We want to welcome all of our listeners and viewers. It is such a pleasure to have you here today watching with us. We're going to have a spirited conversation about what's going on in our beloved country, and we'll marinate, slice, and dice the information and feed it back to you. It is up to you to be informed about what is happening in Liberia. And then, of course, October 10th is our big day. It's our Democracy Day. And that is the day, that's why we're here, basically. And that is the day that we have to make some big decisions for. Do we want our country to stay the way that it is? Do we want our country to move backward, or do we want our country to move forward? So I give you three options. Stay the way that it is, find somebody who will be in the past, or we can find somebody who can help us move to the future to get up to par with other countries in the region and in the world. I want to first go, before we go to our opening comments, I want to first go to something that happened to one of our own. Okay. A good day, David Slanka, Nelson Kula, Yekesi, Titi, Miss Titi, Kone. They are all part of our team. And they worked very hard in Liberia to bring the news to us. We heard that Diamond was assaulted at one of the voting one of the registration sites. And we want to play, because again, in this business, we want to be factual and tell you everything. James Goodday, can you play that video? We've got to respect the people that bring us the news. We have to. Give you 5 minutes. Is that what you're telling me? Are you ready?
I'm coming.
Okay. Yes. So we have to respect the people that bring us the news. Uh, we really they work hard. We can't be assaulting them. So whoever is engaging in such an act, rethink what you're doing. Rethink how you're impacting Liberia and our democracy. So James, when you're ready, just let me know, and I'm just going to show it. And I want my the panelists here, to just give us at least one or two comments about it, and then we're going to move on because we have a full agenda today. You're not ready yet, but as James gets ready, Leo, what I'm sure the video is in our discussion room. You probably saw it. Would you have any words to tell Liberians about, this electoral violence? Okay, ready, James. Okay, James ready. James, you want to show that video? And Dama just speak about it yesterday. We just want to see it. Want you to see it.
Yeah. Call the police. So I'm here doing my job, and this man is saying I shouldn't do my work. So call the police. I beg you, please call the police. Call the police. You guys will do. He's knocking my phone. Okay, because you guys right. You guys right. He's knocking my phone. This is the second assault. He's knocking on me, right? You guys right. You got an army from the phone. Okay.
Leo, I turn it over to you.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, I will say this and I will repeat before I even say a word. Any form of violence, I care less who is from and who is involved and what is the reason, should be condemned roundly. And it's even more scary when someone who works for NEC, for the National Elections Commission, who should be trained in knowing that any form of violence encouraged around any voting center or whatever is chaos and crisis, should be the one avoiding violence, stepping away, is actually the one instigating violence because he feels he should not be recorded. Talking about you need to seek permission from me to record me. Okay, granted. So because someone does not seek permission from you, give you the right to assault them, why not call the police? If you felt Diamond was, committing any crime or maybe going against the principles of the voting center or the registration center, it's simple. Call the police, inform them that, we have a journalist here who's not abiding by the rules, and then the police will be able to remove Diamond in a more orderly manner. I would say this. This is also a mark and a sign of the level of unprofessionalism and lack of training that is going into the people we are sending out there. Voter registration is no joking business. If we're going to put people out there, they need to be professionals. And I would like to see this follow up on, and that gentleman investigated and an incident investigated, and some penalty, actually someone's punished, because this would be the only way people would be deterred from knowing. You don't assault a journalist. In fact, you don't assault anybody for that matter. If you are a voter or NEC worker or NEC staff and you notice someone is misbehaving or someone is not following the ordinance of the place, that's why we got the Liberian National Police. You are not a security officer. You are not a law enforcement officer. This shows you this is another form of intimidation, not just of journalists, but of people wanting to register. If you can treat a journalist like that while you are on camera, I wonder what you would do if you are not on camera. This is an opportunity for the government to set an example, to build some trust, make an example of this gentleman. So a clear message is sent to everyone, even from opposition, ruling party, NEC workers, that absolutely no form of violence will be tolerated and the consequences will be harsh as they come.
Thank you. I want to keep you right here, Leo, to just speak to us give us your opening thoughts, so we don't have to come back. So go ahead, give us your opening thoughts. And to the rest of the panelists, as you speak about the assault on Diamond Slanger, please include your opening thoughts.
Yeah, my opening thoughts will be, I want to send a special shout out and big thank you to the Liberian people, that despite all the issues with the voter registration process, despite how slow things have been going based on what we heard from reporters and everybody, we haven't heard people getting frustrated to the point where they're going overboard. They've managed to conduct themselves well. And I also want to congratulate the Liberian people. The turnout has been massive. I've been following all of the various reporting online, and almost every registration center I've seen, there's been a huge amount of crowd showing up to register. I think it's a good sign of our democracy. It's a good response from the Liberian people, and it tells you people are eager to want to make sure their voices are heard. Is now on neck to ensure that they facilitate this process. I still have my concerns and my doubt about the biometric process because, in my opinion, the planning that was needed to be done has not been done. And I will also say to everybody, the political actors, I was very concerned today with some of the videos I have seen. Dr. Richardson, you appreciate this. We don't talk about mental health a lot, but in the name of politics, I see people mocking people who clearly are showing signs of mental health breakdown. I will say this, we don't talk about it, but what we into on social media, the bullying, the mocking, sometimes it's good for all of us to take a step back and try to pay close attention. For some of you who are close to people who you might notice acting in ways that are going overboard, it might do you a lot of good to pick up the phone, call them one-on-one if you're that close to them, and try to engage with them, because the one danger of mental health is the person that is affecting usually is oblivious, knowing what's going on. They feel that they're just being normal or whatever that is. Yep, let's debate the politics and everything. But where you see things going wrong or things are not making sense, and someone who's close to you is involved, reach out, because at the end of the day, all of us well-being is a paramount concern. I'm quite concerned with some of the recent outbursts and videos I've seen. It doesn't make sense. It's not normal. As much as we are all people may be on different sides of the political coin.
Thank you,
reach
Lee.
out if you can and do a well-being check.
Definitely. Thank you. Viewers, I want to present to you your panelists here. They're going to give you a lot of information today. We're not as complete. There's some that I'm missing, but I'm looking at you guys and just looking at, wow, what a wealth of knowledge. And you guys just look great over here. Despite what some of our viewers might say, you guys, your contribution to Liberia is well deserving and appreciated. Colonel Gray, could you please tell us your thoughts about the assault on Diamond Slanger and also your opening comments?
Firstly, I think Slanger or the Spoon organization should begin to file a lawsuit for assault. That's a Class C felony, third-degree assault. And then furthermore, that is a public corridor. Cameras are allowed. When you serve in the public, that particular domain is considered a public corridor because it's a service-oriented corridor. So as a result, no, you don't need any approval from anybody because you are in the public domain. If he were in his private bedroom, that is a different thing. So go back. He should a lot of these things probably they are based on lack of knowledge. People don't know exactly what comprises of private versus public. When you're serving in an open area like that and you're serving the public, you are considered in the public domain. The law does not cover you as your privacy. This is not your bedroom. This is not some enclosed area where exclusively is yours. This is a private area, a public area where people come for service. So the only way you can begin to put stop to some of this, we have to be able to begin to take it to the law so that people can understand some of these kinds of impeachment on the law, or so ever you want to say it. But I think Diamond Slanger, on his own, he's entitled to even file a lawsuit. There is some evidence. It's preponderance. But this is how it occur in the eyes of the public, and then definitely that can be admissible in court. And let people begin to take responsibility or bear the punishment for their actions. Liberians, we are trying to stay away from violence as we all wish to be, but we can only stay away from violence. Imagine such a man can even beat on his wife. I want to believe that somebody who does not even have the ability to hold on his temperament in the public, imagine what he does home. But what is on my mind today is the president's visit to the U.S. It's very
Greg, can you hold that thought? Because that's on our agenda today. I mean, you can just kind of
I
say
want to
that.
brush on it because I want to take because I didn't see that exuberance from his supporters. Normally, they would charter buses and so on to go places. I've not seen that, so I'm wondering what's going on. But
Okay, good. That's a
I'll
good
leave
place.
the other side.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing that as well. Okay. So I'm now going to go to Salimatu. Salimatu, your opening thoughts, including any thoughts you have or comments you have about the assault on Diamond Slanger by Thomas Bryant. We found out his name. We also were able to get his photo. We saw that on the video. His name is Thomas Bryant, and this happened at the Love Valley Center where Liberians were registering to vote. So, any thoughts, Salimatu?
Yeah, I guess what's on my mind is the attack on the media. I think, all media institutions should take notes, not because it hasn't happened to one of their journalists, but again, I always say when people do things or that is illegal or wrong, they test you when they do it the first time. And once there's no accountability, they grow wings and then, they just feel like they're invincible. So if there is a law that exists that the media cannot record you, it has to be public. It has to be accessible. People have to see it and know, because even in some government, agencies, they will have, you can't take photos, but the signs will be there, like the mansion, and I remember that rule there from the time I was small. Those time you couldn't even drive in front of it. But you have to inform the public. That's one. We know there was no policy that said that the media cannot be there. The guy didn't say anything about him violating any kind of law or rule. He was just frustrated and didn't want to be recorded for whatever reason, and therefore you can result to violence. We're going to start seeing this happening a lot. The other thing I wanted to say, his supervisors. We hope his supervisors will hold him accountable, because then that tells us, if they don't hold him accountable, that tells us this is the kind of work culture they are creating and they support. It's not just going to happen. You say it was the Love Center. Do we know what district, where a polling station? I think we should put it out there so people, even if we don't talk about it tomorrow, somebody will pick it up.
Love Valley Center. That's what I'm getting in from
Love Valley Center. Yeah, and then the other thing is, I do agree with Mr. Gray regarding a lawsuit, or the Leo who said a lawsuit. I think Spoon should pursue a lawsuit, or try to get criminal charges, something filed against him, so they know that it's not tolerated to go harassing and being unprofessional to the media. The other thing I want to say, it's funny, are the observers, the international observers who went to go observe what's happening at these polling stations, I wonder if any one of them were around, because I always, from my experience being on the ground, a lot of time the observers, the international observers who are there, they're there to see if there's any form of violence happening around the polling station. And as we understand, today there's a lot of international observers in the country trying to observe the voters registration. So I hope some of them are watching and they can take note, that this is the start of what to come. So I will stop there. That's what's on my mind. Of course, the president visit is also on my mind, but
thank you. And we're gonna go on to Fadiga, Mr. Fadiga. The guy's name is Thomas Bryant, and according to his Facebook page, he is I'm getting feedback. He is a supervisor at NEC. So just so we know, that's what his Facebook page says. This happened at the Love Valley Center, and it's in Montserrat County. Go ahead, Mr. Fadiga. Your thoughts?
Well, Salimatu said it. I mean, the rest of the guys have said it all. This shouldn't be happening, but the reason it's happening is we got so many impunity going on in Liberia. People do things, they either want to sell it the family way and then I was in Liberia a couple of years ago, and this is a country that people got nothing to depend on. They were just African and just do things on their own. So I don't want to blame any specific person who says the government or something, but we have a culture of impunity. And this is what happened, because tomorrow when the guy go there, somebody will say, oh, you know what? Just forget it. Let's settle the family with. But I think like Remy said, Spoon should pursue this. At least we should pursue it so that it doesn't happen. It shouldn't be happening. We expect more violence as we get closer to the election. So this is just a prelude of things that could happen. So I think the network should go after them. We should pursue them and make sure that at least this guy is reprimanded so that it serves as deterrent for other people that will want to commit, such a heinous act. What is on my mind? I had a call just now. I had to go off air, but I'm still laughing at that. But what is on my mind? I woke up this morning. We all woke up this morning, and my good friend Costa. I like the guy. I like. There's something about him, that I like, and he's very consistent in whatever he do. Whether it's notorious or whether it's for the benefit of Liberia, he's consistent in whatever he does, and that's one thing that I respect about him. And not surprising to me, we woke up to the other Costa. It depends on what Costa you wake up with. You can wake up with.
Yeah, don't go too deep into this. I know.
No, I just lay in the premise. We'll play the stuff. Yes. But yeah, so I woke up this morning and we have been hearing this rumor about Boyka VPP, which is a very, very indicative. This man made his whole presidential bid about his vice president. So everybody is watching him to see who he's going to pick for his vice president. And we heard Kuhn and something, but Costa was the least on my mind. I don't believe anybody in the red mind will even choose Costa to be something. He's the fine man.
I'm going to hold you to that.
But then we saw this today. Kuhn surfaced yesterday, and then Costa made some damning allegation against Kuhn, and that was the main thing that was on my mind. He said Kuhn was a human trafficker. And we have the video and the audio to show for that. He said Kuhn was a human trafficker, which is alarming, when you traffic, human organ, not even human trafficker. So that means the guy, when you say you go to the hospital, they can sell your kidney, sell your liver.
Before that thought again, because I like to hearing and seeing. I be living these days here.
We'll play the audio. Yeah. So he said the man are boyo. So the man are big boyo. That's why boyo can do the thing. So I was surprised for someone that proximity to VP Boyka making that allegation against somebody that, if from every indication seems like he is going to be his vice president pick, that is alarming, and that was on my mind.
Thank you. I want to welcome Mr. Fagan, Honorable Fagan, to the show. We finished welcoming my cousins, our brothers, our sisters, and Liberians in general. And here you appear. So we're talking about the assault on our media person, or for that matter, any media person, and how we are just distancing ourselves from that. I want to just get your thoughts on that as you move to your thought of the day as well, before we go into our regular topic today, which includes VP picks and what we're hearing in the news. So go ahead, Honorable Fagan.
Thank you very much.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. And let me say hi to my dear Salimatu, my good friend Al Hussein, my brother Conor Iremi Gray, Leo Johnson. Where Leo going to? You just see me start running. I don't understand that. You just see me start running, going. Why are you running?
You want to play a suit on.
You went to the costume.
I said that only like bro, Leo can wear a suit. Leo, yeah, you wear a suit now. So
I will not irresponsible.
Suit bene like irresponsible thing. Suit bene again. Now why they post say advanced library Leo? Then you say they put when I say advanced.
Oh God.
But anyway, I'm very suspicious of him drinking a small amount of white liquid in the glass. I'm
Thank
very
God they're
suspicious.
not calling me a human trafficker, Leo. I would tell you. Leo.
But anyways, first
Oh,
of all,
that was a clap back. Okay.
I will look forward to the public relations officer at NEC to come forward with an apology or order an investigation because he's in the media business. Second, I trust that the new CEO will take the approach of first contacting the umbrella arm of all media operations in the country, which is the Press Union of Liberia, to notify the PUL and serve the Ministry of Information a copy of the letter. And I think she will do the right thing. While I condemn in the strongest possible terms the attack, which by no means anyone can doubt, it is clear on camera, we're all in the media business and sometimes we fall short. And sometimes people act out of their own emotions and they do the wrong thing. But I think the right thing, having been in the media arena for a number of years, I will think that we need to build that relationship with the PUL and the Ministry of Information. As you saw, the Ministry of Information call us and we went there with the PUL. So probably it's our time to call them first. And failure on their part to take the necessary action will then lead to our own action, which I'm sure the government will not like in any way, shape, or form. We are on the biggest platform and we have a microphone that is mightier than the sword. Having said that, what's on my mind for today is the fact that I heard my friends say the turnout was massive. Unless we see the videotape of the massive turnout today, even where they were assaulting our journalists, you saw the empty space. Nobody got to tell you. You can ask in the media group. There's nothing about being massive for registration today. People are frustrated and meetings are taking place behind the scene to find out what they can do now to kind of get the process attractive. What can they do to get it attractive? Because right now, it's rainy season. I am not going to stand anywhere for 8 hours. Plus maybe another 1 hour to get Mark Kema into the system. Because Mark Kema know nothing. Spare her name, she don't know it, but she know her money for a billable. And so you cannot force her, you cannot disenfranchise her. It's becoming a problem, okay? The next thing I would like to touch on is the fact that I agree with Leah, mental health is a problem. And that's where Dr. Francine can say, you bring all this energy and then sometimes you just make us melt. This is what some of the things I don't like about Kumis. Where is this video showing Kumis laughing today? I just need a clip. Because according to somebody, they said Kumis dropped on the ground, he was rolling laughing. All his eyes were hurting. He said, look at that man. Causing me all day. They just do small thing to him. He break down. They said that small laugh, Kumis laughed today. They said even up to now, Kumis still laughing. He just played a video that Al Hussein Fadiga, he caught that clip and sent it all around. They said Kumis got it in front of him, in front of one small TV like this. When he put it on, he just paused it, he fall on the ground. Make it all, make it all. He said, see that man that was causing me Baba cause. Then he said, make it all. But he told all my own, but he said, make it all. Today, you told all allegedly now. He alleged all Jeremiah Kun. But then you say, make it all. And when you're dealing with a person like Fagon, when I cutting the pieces together and netching it, Fadiga knows what I'm talking about. I will put you yelling all the time about Kumis. Then at the end of the day, you say, make it all, make it all. Then I go to Kun. Then you talk all the thing, how he did. Then I just need that small part there. Make it all, Fagan, make it all. Then people say, oh, Fagan, don't do that. I'm going to become a little bit serious in my closing to this, 30 seconds. We are in the political season. You have to be careful with your utterances out there. And while it's true that mental health is an issue, it should not only become an issue when you are on the defensive and you break it down. It should be it should become an issue when you are attacking the character of others, when you are besmearing the character, when you are taking people down. It should become an issue. And so, with that said, we're ready for a show. I'm happy Remy Gray is here. He accused you, Madam Moderator, of intentionally leaving him out the other day. But today, you can see the green behind it. Man is in his actual place of political worship. Any attempt by you will be met with stiff resistance on this platform.
Any attempt to attempt.
To attempt the tempted.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, Liberians. Don't I have such beautiful panelists? Just look at all of them. I love the colors. And I love your mind, your brain as well. I just want to say, we are working on mental health issues as someone who, have reached the highest echelon of, I don't know if
I have a question. I keep hearing you saying mental. Did somebody tell us that Costa had a mental problem?
No. I was the one who opened this comment. I said the symptoms and signs of mental health for those of us who have some mental breakdown, who have any close proximity to. I'm not a mental health professional, but as a youth professional worker, I've seen some of the symptoms in people. I'm saying people who are close to individuals. If you see things going abnormal with your friends, whether publicly or not, call them and do a mental health check-in, because people don't know when it's happening to them. So I don't have any diagnosis for anybody to sit down here and say a particular person has a mental health issue. I don't know that.
Yes, and actually I wasn't even addressing that. I was just addressing mental health issues in the holistic form. I believe a couple of weeks ago, I told you guys that I'm beginning to do a study on the impact of rape and the psychosocial impact of rape in Liberia. And we usually have to go to what we call the Research and Ethics Review Board, and they had a lot of questions. Some questions were interesting. They're like, JFK is the only hospital you guys have in that part of the town. And I had to, unfortunately say, yes, we don't have urgent centers like everywhere else, like how we have that here. But in the conversations, we started to talk about offering telehealth. As you probably know, telehealth started mostly because of COVID. It kind of expanded because of COVID. So we're looking at just starting with women who may have impact after we speak about rape to them, especially ask them a rape questionnaire. And let's say they started to decline just because we jogged their memory. And so we, as a group of psychologists, are working towards offering telehealth from a voluntary basis. Of course, it creates a lot of work for me, because obviously the cultural piece has to be presented and trained for mental health employees, psychologists who have not had that experience. So yes, we're moving slowly to addressing our mental health issues in my weak ways here as a mental health professional.
And Dr. Richardson, I just want to commend your efforts, because I think even in the diaspora, there's a serious issue with trauma going on at all levels that we overlook, and we just consider it to be the things we always do. We go ahead. So thank you for your effort on that. And the next thing I will say is, my fear with mental health is not just only the people that are breaking down, but the people around them, their children, their spouses, the communities, the function in, all get the full weight. When you see a parent in the home just getting angry about things, smacking, doing all the things that they do. So thank you for that. I raise it because personally, I have friends in the Liberian community that we've been having conversations about it. And we all at some point have gone through some level of trauma that have never been dealt with.
Absolutely. And I tell people, just because you came over the Atlantic Ocean doesn't mean that your trauma stays in Liberia. Okay, moving forward, let's just go on to our show. We'll kind of
Can I make a quick announcement? Just 30 seconds.
Sure.
I would like for the authorities at LRA to please contact Spoon. I've gotten multiple information that Thomas Bryan also works at the tax business office in Kakata with the LRA. We're trying to ascertain his colleagues are contacting me, and they're saying that they had no clue that he was with Nick. Now I've got 3 of those informations right now. Is he one of the, you call it seasonal workers, right? To just do the registration or what? We need to know so that we can take up the issue with the LRA. Contact us before you accuse us of putting information out there. I've gotten 3 of them right now, and his supervisor name is Wodo Nelson. Wodo Nelson, if you are around, you're listening, your name is on Spoon. We need to validate the information coming into us from his co-workers at the Business Tax Office in Kakata. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. We have the first topic on my agenda today is to talk about our president's travel to the United States. I know it's been day 2 now, and so I just wanted to know, as it comes to how this benefits Liberia, I wanted to know your thoughts on this. If you don't have a thought, that's fine. And then, of course, we have the topic of the vice presidential picks. You know, your thoughts about it, who you think will contribute to Liberia. For us here, it is all about Liberia. It is not a personal thing. We want to stick to the issues. We want to make sure how might leaving the country to come to the United States or in the diaspora contribute to Liberia. This is not only about We Are Travel, it's all about Mr. Cummings is here as well. And we also know Vice President Bawka traveled, I think, a day ago. We heard that. So how did that benefit Liberia? What was it about? Did that impact Liberia? Was it a private trip? We need to know as Liberians. So I'm going to start with you, Leo. Any thoughts about that you want to expand on? You muted.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, I will say what I said, part of what I said also yesterday to begin with. This is the president of the Republic of Liberia traveling. This is not my uncle or my auntie or some deputy minister or whatever traveling. This is the president of the Republic. And as has been done, as we're saying in the past, which I've never had a problem with, the fanfare around the president travel. We've seen it when he's departing, when he gets to the U.S., what are his seditions and other pressure groups that support him coming out to show up. But also, the executive mansion put out the shortest statement I've ever seen that said nothing, in my opinion, compared to when the president is usually traveling. There's a lot of highlight on the parts of his trip that can be known, usually. Now, we must also be aware that sometimes leaders travel and there are parts of their trips that cannot be known, right? They do have classified meetings at times, which is a normal part of their travels. But at the very least, there are general description of why the leader is traveling. And then there are also information about who they might be meeting with and sometimes for what purpose. Now, my thing is, with the amount of rumors that's swirling all over the place from different sources, that President, we are here to meet with a CIA, that, you know, they're having classified meetings, and the size of the delegation that he traveled with is also very concerning for me. Right, when I was seeing the list of the number of people that came, it's almost like the entire top level of the cabinet came with our president. So my question is, why would the executive mansion just sit and relax and allow all this rumor to be swirling around and don't think it is even dangerous, not just for President Weah, but for the country? Because when these type of rumors take hold, they influence people's behavior. They also influence our international business partners. People who might be considering doing business, investors in the country, start to hear this type of rumor, and that's the only rumor they can hear. There's no official debunking of it. There's no way they can go and find official information to say, oh, now that was just rumors. Here is the information for the president's actual travel. Here's who's he's actually meeting. The last thing you want to do is to leave a vacuum for your entire population to be finding ways to fill it in with other people providing strong opinions and being very serious about why they say you travel to the United States. So in my opinion, the PR machine of the government, the information arm of the government has not only let down President Weah, they've let down the Liberian people, they've let down their international partners, and they've let down people who are keeners and stakeholders in the Republic of Liberia who might not want to thrive on rumors, but they have no choice but to thrive on the existing rumors and deciding to believe whichever one they want to.
You're muted, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you. Colonel Gray, you started this conversation. You started about talking that you didn't see a lot of fanfare around this president's travel this time around. do you care to expand on your thoughts about anything you'd like to add that Leo said?
Yeah, well, President Weir is he's loved by his admirers, and those who are for him will always come out when they have the slightest opportunity to show out. Um, it's it's kind of mind-boggling when this time around we're not seeing any of that fanfare coming, around the president. Well, then it creates more room for speculation as to what really was the undercurrent of this president's trip to the United States. Most sure when he's coming to meet a spy agency like the CIA. One wonders what would be the primary reason why he's coming to the to the CIA, especially the headquarters. It leaves more room for speculation, more so with the kind of issues Fangon raised. I think I'm not sure 2 days ago about the president. Our international or foreign policy with regards to prosecuting terrorism war in around the Sahel region or the Horn of Africa. Our troops are stationed there, and also Liberia is also in the news, noted for increasingly becoming a transit corridor for narcotic drugs. Um, and as your man Fangon would say, narco narco trade is what funds actually terrorism
Yeah.
in not only to other in other countries but also anywhere where trace of terrorism exists. Liberia is very close. It's at a very closer proximity. I talk about the Gulf of Guinea. That's a vital trade link, and our our proximity to the Gulf of Guinea also makes us a very attractive and lucrative place for breeding ground for terrorism. Some of us who have done security study at that level, um, you know, have so many data to scavenge or ravage to be able to make that case. So it's Liberia sluggish about its own responsibility in the international community, more so with the kind of leadership we have there. Are they ignoring things? Are they unaware of certain things? What are some of the protocol put in place to be able to determine whether or not we're further ground for terrorism? I think we're exposed to some extent. Probably that's why the CIA director will come to Liberia. Other countries like Ghana, Senegal as well. Um, the commander of AFRICOM is the United States, foreign policy machinery that is set up in around Mali, which is the troublesome zone where our troops are stationed, and also Somalia. This is where the United States now brought their postulation or prosecution of terrorism. They've come around the horn. So Liberia is there. Are we doing our part there? Do we have any role to play? I think Liberia is still strategic to the U.S. when
30
it comes
seconds.
to carry on those kinds of their foreign policy. So we're still a valuable machine, but does the we administration have the ability to even sustain that task? And when I see the president coming here, I'm not only looking for other things. I'm wondering why shouldn't this be something that should click the foreign minister
Wait,
or
Mr.
foreign.
Gray. Mr. Gray. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. As we move on to Salamatu, the president traveled to the United States a couple of days ago. We talked about the NEC needing money that they don't have. They got initial $4 million and they're still waiting for the other phases of payments. And then yet we see a huge delegation of people traveled as well, and we don't know. Like Leo said, we at least let the PR people do a better job to tell us more in details. Maybe give us a schedule as opposed to say he's going to see investors or partners or he's going to the CIA. Those are the only things that we heard that is on the website as of yesterday when I checked. What are your thoughts about this, Salamatu? I know you told us a little bit yesterday. Is there anything you'd like to further expand on?
Yeah, well, number one, the PR people need content in order to write the story. Unless you are a professional like Honorable Fagon, who you tell a story, you write it for the other people they look at
if you like me, you just say yeah.
Well, I like you, but yeah, you can take the story and you will write it. Nobody will be asking any question. The other people there and look at everybody just not scratching their head and waiting. No offense,
excuse me, Salamatu. I want to welcome Honorable Koluba. I'm so sorry, Honorable Koluba. Thank you for joining us. I didn't mean that to see you.
Why you scared that man for? Because the push show in here leading. You don't need to be afraid of him. We can make him lose.
I to say how you can write a story and then they're going to write a story. What about the go ahead, please?
So yeah, again, so without information from the government, we know there are several things that are on play right now with the U.S. government. There's the TRC, the issue of the TRC. There's no yes or no from the government, which is headed by George Weah, and I think that is heavily on the U.S. mind right now. There's also the whole issue of bad governance. They put sanctions on 3 top level officials of the government. It looked like they even had to pressure the president to get the people to resign. And now we hear one of those people are actually running for a senator for Makabe County. And yeah, we can sit down and say, hey, look, yeah, we are an independent nation. Anybody free to run, anybody, yeah. But we haven't seen the government say, what they were doing, any type of investigation. And if they didn't say anything after the resignation of these sanctioned individuals. Now we have this, one of the guys, Mr. McGill, literally running in Makabe County. And we can sit here and speculate what's happening in Makabe County and, the interest that is in Makabe County for eyes to look at it and say, this thing doesn't look right. You're not holding the people accountable. And yet, y'all want us to now put money into an election to help. I mean, it's just like a bad circle. The other thing, of course, we know that there's been a lot of corruption, stealing funds that the U.S. government give. One case in point was the USAID money that was for health. So all of these things, you're not seeing any accountability. We're continuing to see all these bad reports. They're not paying attention to it. It can be any reason why they're calling him there. If it is the CIA who's calling the president, it's funny to me because now you have one country's agency, a government agency, actually writing the president to summon him to the U.S. I don't know if
but anybody... you are telling him to stay there.
Now, I see some of the comments there, let you just stay there, No, but it's pretty sad when we have to depend on another country to hold us accountable.
Thank you, Salamatu. I'm going to go to Fadiga. Fadiga, your thoughts? Here it is. We're looking for money. We have an entourage of people traveling to the United States. You can sort of wrap that into what you have to say about does the trip benefit Liberia?
Was it an entourage? Like the same 20 people?
Well, to me, more than 2 or 3 entourage.
Well, you see, there are a couple of...
When we still owe NEC some money.
I know. You see, I know there has been a lot of speculation. And honestly, if we spend our tax dollar on this president for these trips, we need to know wherever the president is going. It is public information. He's not a private citizen anymore, and this was not a private venture. So we need to know if it was classified. They still need all that information. But what is puzzling is that on January 9th, the CIA director Williams J. Burns visited Liberia. Remember, this is the highest U.S. government official to have ever come to Liberia since. It's unprecedented. Usually we have a very close relationship with the president. But since George Weah came to power, we have had low-level officials coming, ambassador here and there. But this is I think the most senior, I stand to be corrected, the most senior U.S. government official to date that have ever come to Liberia. And the first time, it's not too often you see the CIA director visit your country. We see that happen mostly in the Middle East countries, where they have their base. So to see the CIA director coming to Liberia is concerning. Most time it has to be something very serious. And then we saw 3 government officials from the CDC-led administration placed on the U.S. Magnitsky sanction. And what is puzzling about that, what is even worse about that is McGill. I'm not talking about the other 2. It is an open secret in Liberia that McGill served at the will and pleasure of the president. He was even termed at one time as the de facto president of Liberia. So there is no way that the Americans can go after McGill and just leave the head out. A person, except where they are taking gradual steps, rather than using the decapitation strategy, they're trying to take. There is no way they can accuse McGill of corruption and leave the president. And, except where they do not want to disrupt things, they try to take a baby step. So I want us to look at that. The second thing here is this man was invited by the CIA officially. No precedent in the history of Liberia. And not too many countries in Africa, we have seen an official invitation of the CIA. Never. They do go there and they do their thing, outside, privately. But to have a president, it's like how I saw it was like, hey, my man, come in. It's like an investigation is going on, and they're showing this guy to tell you, say, put him in a small room, so showing all the video. You see the one, McGill stole the other money at that time. He get the money to the other person. You see the other one, that one did the one. So all the money that's what keep running in my mind, because to just see the CIA invite you or sitting head of state officially, because what do the CIA do? The CIA investigates. They protect the U.S. outside of the U.S. It's not any kind of diplomatic mission. They kill Bin Ali. They do a lot of things. So the CIA don't play, So except where you in serious trouble, that's the only way they will serve you. They're not diplomats. Well, they do some diplomacy, but they do a lot of covert things. So if the president of your country is invited to the CIA headquarters in Langley or wherever they call that place, I think I smell trouble. And there's no way to spin this. This is the first time.
Thank you.
And that, so that's how I see it.
I will spin it.
So let's go to Mr. Fagon, and also then we're going to talk to our honorable here, Yeke Koluba, Honorable Yeke Koluba. Mr. Fagon, I had a CDC friend called me, and he said, I don't know what's the big deal, Dr. Richardson, that you guys have to be discussing the president's visit to the United States, because, AFRICOM used to be in Liberia, and then it transferred to Senegal. So the purpose of the trip is to discuss bringing AFRICOM back to Liberia. So I just want to say that this was the news.
Did he show you a copy of the invitation letter?
No, I get nothing. I got a story to write, nothing, but I'm just being all sides. I'm giving all sides.
And people you can be talking about, say they can be writing, reporting them more. He keep telling you about the invitation, but
I am laying in your lap right now. Tell us. I get nothing.
Well, let's start first and foremost. The government PR arm will not put anything outside until they give them something to put outside. And they want you, it's hard to give it to them because you see my chest, Bugao, you got no Fagon to put a spin on it and make it look fun. They will just put it outside. Jam, my other brother used to sit here. The president said, I must say, Baga paying for money. Now, I can go and say the president say, or I will not tell you to say this, or say, oh, AFCON were in Liberia, but they carry it to Senegal. Now they want to bring it back to Senegal. Is that why you call a sitting head of state? On top of that, the CIA director did not send his deputy, or his assistant, or his director, or his supervisor. Then we got the CIA regional headquarters that has a director for the whole region. He's saying he sat left from behind a desk, and if I may make it look fun, he flew the plane himself. Went to Liberia. You know how Prince Johnson said when he was in the mansion, Eugene Nangbe and King Isa? All the people that wanted to go in the room, even the ambassador, he didn't go inside. That wanted Jawia, the NSA boss, and the CIA boss. What he had to say to Jawia, he couldn't say. Here are some basic facts. Fact number 1. Terrorists cannot put money through bank accounts. They sell drugs, get the money, and then use the monies for their operation. No banking business inside. You can't catch them. Secondly, they push monies through areas you least expect. Money laundering. Fast forward, not to make it long, go to Liberia. Some of the most deadly weapons were recently discovered in Liberia. For what purpose? You already know. $100 million worth of drugs. What became of it? The Americans trying to look. Few weeks later, $40 million worth of drugs. So clearly, you saw what happened. Frustration. Corruption. Look at the elections. Look at Legis. Look at the Southeast. Look at what NEC is doing. Look at the Human Rights Report. It validated everything we've been saying. Arbitrary killings by who? By the government and their agents. Who are their agents? I already gave you people places that they are located. But let me say this. In reference to Salimatu and Fadiga. Y'all make it sound fun. He was supposed to say that. But I think somebody told him, said, you ever heard about Manuel Antonio Noriega? He was the de facto president of Panama. And when they told him to come, he ran in the Vatican embassy for 10 days. Y'all look it up. And while he was there for 10 days, guess what they did? They put a bigger speaker in the wall outside and blast Tupac Shakur them music. Look at Leo shaking his head. And I told you, with the old people in the business, I know how old you said 1990. I think you are 2 years old. Probably you're 2 years old.
Thank other people here can write their own inside book so we can
now,
read it. And I'll let you in your head.
So Antonio Noriega is sitting president who refused to come when he was called. The same way say because he was called. He refused to come. They went for him. They brought him, charged him with drug trafficking, money laundering. Tell me the difference now between Liberia. No difference. $100 million worth of drugs. Few weeks later, $40 million worth of drugs. All kind of money coming into the country. They called Noriega, found him guilty, sentenced him to 40 years in prison. He died in 2017 May. Now, our man in Kweto James Kakaleka, but send a call him, no news. The whole place quiet. So when you see me disappear, I won't call my first cousin, Ambassador McCarthy, and tell him, say, cousin, it's not easy. You got to tell us something. The government not telling you anything. Where our president? We can't hear from you. We can't see no video. When he sat down with Biden, you all saw the video. With Blanky, you all saw it. With whoever, they were all around. I just say you, CIA, our president, we can't see nothing.
30 seconds, Mr. Fakan.
The 30 second is, you please call my cousin cousin Ambassador McCarthy and ask him what happened with my president. Guessing you 1 year something. But on a much serious note, people will say you clowning about it, Fagon. You know what? It's so troublesome that you just got to smile and laugh. That an agency in the United States, just call your president and say, come. Don't leave Justice Minister behind. Don't leave defense. Bring him. You come. What are they going to show you? And I will say in my closing, there is nothing President Weah can do for the United States that another president will not do for them. But to allow him to carry on and then comes after us later will be the wrong thing. I'm not saying they will arrest him. I'm not saying they're going to arrest him. But with the evidence they have on him, we just need them to stop him.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Fagon. I'm going to turn our attention now to Honorable Yeke Koloba. Every time you see him here, you know he got some primary information to tell us. He's our primary source. He was at the scene. He's in Liberia. He's in the House of Representatives. So there's some information that he can tell us. Honorable Yeke Koloba, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me say good evening to everybody on the show and good evening to the people of District Number 10 and my supporter in and around the world. I'm happy to be on your show today. Let me just throw small light on the invitation or the president being summoned by the security apparatus in the U.S. Liberia is on the red line when it comes to national security. Liberia has become a threat to the U.S. government when it comes to national security. I'm saying it. Liberia has become a threat to the U.S. government when it comes to national security. All the bad things that America hate is happening in Liberia here. So the president has been summoned. He's also disrespecting. He has disrespected the sanction placed on Maggie and others. He's doing business with Maggie. He even got Maggie still on salary carrying bearing national security and fly in the street with sirens. As far as the American government is aware, Maggie is still the Minister of State. By document, he's not the Minister of State, or by reality, he is carrying on the function as the Minister of State. And the American government got all the information and have resolved to send for him, to ask him what's going on. And maybe in the process, it will become an embarrassment to him, not to the country. The American government do not have interest in embarrassing this country. They have interest in embarrassing people that have become a disgrace and embarrassment that the American government can work with anymore. Liberia is on the red line. Today we notice, I'll share the information with Good Day, the MCC bringing all the security to the Muslim school on the Oro to do the registration. They brought all the securities in uniform during the registration. I finally declare District Number 10 Republic of Liberia today, calling on all our supporters to move into District Number 10, because District Number 10 has become Republic of Liberia now, where MCC will be in a full uniform and the pickups, they're coming from Ghana's other places. In fact, they told them after shift last night, nobody went home. Until all of them did the registration today at the Muslim school on the Oro around the keyhole. The issue we were talking about last night concerning the training of security, my information is 100% correct. That Prince have been taking all of the police academy. The police have started to visit people that have been placed there. They're taking some people out because all of those that went through the vetting process, they dropped them and put citizens to go on the academy. So they started to drop some people today. The 196 that I talk about have been dropped. Prince have been dropped from the academy. We still got Hassan, the man that was allegedly involved with the field coup of the former Guinean president that is here, that is in the motorcade of the president, riding one of the escort bike. He's still there yet, but they are trying to get him out of the academy. As soon as we get that information, will come to the public, so we can inform the Liberian people But I finally declared district number 10 Republic of Liberia today because the whole government is concentrated in district number 10. And let me appreciate them for their hard work. They are bringing point in our district. I don't like to gossip. The president is not here, so my press conference I was talking to the Liberian people, not to him. So I didn't go hard on him. When he come, I will have my press conference to appreciate him and speak the way I always speak.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Koloba. Honorable Koloba is calling on all Liberians to practice elections integrity. Make sure that the people that are voting in our elections are Liberians. He has a lot of concerns about people coming in from different parts of the world or region to participate in our elections. I just also want to know, please note that we have a brief program change here. Diamond Slanger is in the studio. He'll be coming on at the end of the program to just tell us about his ordeal today, even though we talked about it, but it's always good to have the person who experienced the situation to speak about it. So he's going to be coming in, and instead of me doing my closing, he'll be coming in my place. So now let's move on to other candidates that are in the country. We talked about President Weah being in here, of course, because he is our president and he came here for international engagement. We are still waiting to hear more from the mansion's website. But there was something that happened, and I want to credit our co-panelists here, Mr. Facon, for blowing his horn. He told us that our vice president, former vice president, and now presidential candidate, traveled to Ghana. And I heard all of this. We want to know too what.
You muted yourself inadvertently, Doctor.
I didn't do that. Somebody else did. I don't know who did. My hand was up here, so I don't know.
That Leo.
Okay. What's the nature of the trip? How does that benefit Liberia? I also we want to know about. Then we also heard this whole outburst about his different vice presidential picks. We also know that Mr. Cummings is in the country. He had a fundraiser. How does this again contribute to Liberia? So I want to start off with you, Leo, by having discussions on Mr. Cummings and Vice President Boakai, his trip to Ghana, his vice presidential picks, any one of them that you can intellectually dissect here for us. Thank you.
Thank you. I think first of all, anytime a presidential candidate or anyone running to be president cannot give the public an assurance of the confidence in them knowing what they're doing, is a problem. And so far, I would say Vice President Boakai and Honorable Alexander Cummings have been running for president since 2017, since the last election. Let's put it that way. They ran the last election, they were not successful, and they knew already that they were running again in this election based on all their activities, at least that we saw. What baffles me is that we are 6 months away from a major election. A vice presidential pick is supposed to be the first test of the decision-making ability, in my opinion, of a leader. We want to see the quality of the decisions that you make, to understand how you make decisions. And the only real first test we got to see is you picking your vice president, since, in fact, that power is supposed to be entirely to the candidate. However, the Mango Israel Abrimpo can say in a political way, that's fine. But we know that the presidential candidate should have the flavor too. So I'm worried that both Mr. Cummings and Honorable VP not being able to clearly give us indication, the public right now, 6 months away from the election, who their vice presidential picks are, is taking a lot away from them, because those people should have been on a campaign trail now. Those people should have been reaching out in villages, in towns, or those people should have been carrying out the strategic objectives that the candidates may not be able to carry out. Because when you're picking a vice presidential candidate, you are also looking at what the person brings to the table. You're looking at what gaps you may have that they're filling in. But what may happen is that you will pick them and it'll be impossible to fill in those gaps, because the time frame you have for them to really go out there and do what they're supposed to do, you don't have it. Liberia is a tough country. Rainy season is actually coming. When a campaign gets really rolling out, we will already be in the rainy season, and getting around logistically is a big problem. So my question is, what are these presidential candidates really hoping for their vice presidential picks to bring. The final thing I will say about JMB and travel to Ghana is this. It is very clear to us by now, one, in my opinion, from the last senatorial elections, the United Party does not have the resources to actually run a campaign. I'll say so because from the last senatorial race in Lofa, we saw all the scuffles around them being short of resources, around the poor watcher money that were taking and run away with it, around the logistical challenges they had just in Lofa alone. Now you got 15 counters that you have to take on simultaneously. With Mr. Cummings, I think his vice presidential pick supposed to bring him the biggest prize, in my opinion, to help him deal with some of his issues. And waiting till the last minute, about 6 months to the elections, I don't think the value that is supposed to be extracted from a vice presidential pick will be able to be extracted in full, simply because the logistical arrangement, the timeline, and the buzz around which that's supposed to be created around the VP pick may not be, because everybody will be in a frenzy as the election draws closer and closer. So I'm surprised that they haven't passed this first litmus test, in my opinion, of leadership in terms of picking their vice presidential candidates confidently.
Thank you. So Leo is talking about money here, and he's also talking about the timing of picking the vice presidential pick. Money and timing, okay? Colonel Gray, anything you'd like to add on this? Leo said a lot.
Well, first, I think one of there was still some hope somewhere that the two top individuals in our political landscape will see reason to collaborate. I still believe that these are two individuals who have a past. Cummings naming his son Buckeye. I know he didn't just pick up that name from anywhere. You have to be able to see that they had some friendship going on before, but there was some bad seed sown in the course of the CPP. But I believe both men believe that probably we can still manage situation, but maybe they're past that level now. Okay, now picking the VP is important, but rather making sure that that they have their acts together is another one. But I want to pivot a little bit to the fact that we had a collaboration that was so cohesive, so beautiful, so attractive, that were gaining some steam. And we had one group of individuals who primarily destroyed that particular effort. And that group of people are the Uris, to include Mr. Costa. Now we know that all of these efforts they've been running against was for his own selfish game. And this is the problem with Liberia. We put our individual interests above national interests. You understand? First it was Cummings, finger document. Now you'll begin to hear certain things that this was all a cook-up story against somebody whose decency was played with, even at the court level, dragged at that level, and they were successful. They severed the CPP. And then they turned the guillotine towards Yombili Kanga. You understand? Meticulously putting people that now Kanga is out of the view. They've gone now to Kun. You understand? Only within that specific time period, they flew to Ghana. Lure the old men there to be able to see if they can take this vice presidential bid. Nothing is wrong with that. The only thing I think is wrong, don't damage the character of other individuals, decent people, to earn your own selfish game. I mean, you make politics look ugly when you do that. You understand? And I want to believe now with Liberians will see who are the true enemies of our progress. We have a president who already was not qualified by virtue of so many folks. Then you have another guy who it's a blab talker, has never worked in any formidable area, has no experience whatsoever in governmental activity. You put more on Cummings for not having governmental experience, and then you take a guy who has never worked in any reflective area in his life. Even here, when he's here, this is an industrial country. He barely works here. That's the individual you put in around somebody to be the vice president. It makes the country appear so playful and unserious to the extent where some of us wonder if these are the kind of decisions the old man is going to make. But I heard that he escaped the trap, and I gave him kudos for that because he was really lowered. Now he's beginning to rethink. Oh, I see all this time why you were so close to me. This was the plan, and this was the plan.
So I would like to make a disclaimer here. The views that are expressed by our panelists are their views and not the views of the network, Spoon Network. But we hear Mr. Colonel Remy Gray actually is giving us a narration of what he believes is happening and the selection of a vice presidential pick. And what actually surprises, and Salimatu, I know you probably can speak about this a little bit, in addition to what you have to add, is the fact that we have all of these years that have gone by, and they'll talk about mentoring, like, that we don't even have the system where we would have mentor young people to now stand up to serve and collaborate with a presidential figure. That is almost like we struggling to find a good Liberian to serve the country. What does that say about us, Salimatu? And please, you can address that or address any thing you want to say.
One, as I was listening to Leo, he was saying, it's kind of late to pick a VP for either candidate, because to me, it sounds like you're assuming whoever they pick is someone who is just sitting down doing nothing. Whoever either party picks, I can tell you, they are campaigning with them. They're within the midst. They're sitting at the table and they are campaigning with them. So even though we may not know people's specific names, they are campaigning. I don't think either one of these gentlemen are that gullible when it comes to what's happening. So the second thing I would say, so Grace said it, you had a structure in place. The CPP, you had a plan in place. That was the plan. You come together, you go, you select one of y'all that in our group to go as a president, a standard bearer for the group. You have a way to select the VP, and you campaign and you beat the people. But again, because of greed and selfishness, they chocolate, everybody chocolate the whole thing. Not even chocolate the thing, but me Jebga, you wanted to go. Now you not go. So it's like everybody almost starting from scratch again. To select a VP, to select, to select a running mate. But I would say, as a member of the CPP, as somebody who support Mr. Cummings, this year is not a normal election year. There's a lot of things that's just kind of being disturbed, chakla, in a way. But I know he's on course. He's a very disciplined guy. He's very professional. He is on course. And once he announces the VP candidate to everybody else, well, yay. So until then, we'll watch the other side select the VP, because we've been on this rumor for so long. Or they may not choose the one. Yeah, I'm talking about JMB camp. They may not choose the one. They may not choose the one. That at this point now, I think one of you guys said his VP candidate is starting to define his presidential candidate. So we're not even giving these people a chance to restructure, to organize, to sit and think. Who your VP, or the man say he choosing that person, the man say he choosing that person. There's the good show going on. Let's sit down and watch. When our CPP ready to announce, they will announce. If at this point, Liberians haven't decided who they're leaning towards voting, and they must see a VP to decide who they vote for, then I think the trouble you thought we're in even more serious trouble. I understand how important it is for people to be able to see the candidate, the presidential candidate, as well as the VP, to make a good decision 100%. But it's coming this year. This whole election term has just been not the normal term. You have the opposition fighting a very corrupt government that don't know how to govern. We even criticizing the opposition, say they're not even fighting long enough. They're not fighting hard enough. We saw the disruption of what was supposed to be a beautiful collaboration. So everybody, I guess, they're trying to reorganize themselves. But the true colors of people are starting to show now, and I hope we're watching.
Thank you. Benessy popping, popcorn popping, Coke in the glass.
I got my water. I ready.
I am ready. So he says, "I go laugh because you see it where he says Benessy popping for my mouth." So, Anika, you started this conversation earlier, and I asked you to pause a little bit. Again, please feel free to direct any video you want to direct to James Goodday in order for us to see, because he is believing in our business here as well. I'm here myself. I'm hearing this theme: greed versus Liberia's interest. Greed versus Liberia's interest. And we come here basically to educate Liberians about the interest of our country and to see how sometimes personal interest, if you follow it too much, it can derail the interest of our country. So I want you to speak about anything you want to talk about, but to add on what I heard you say earlier, there was something about greed you were talking about and personal interest. Go ahead.
Well, I think I tell a good deal on that video there. One of the videos, actually. There are many, but because of time we would not play everything. But what happened is people, in a perfect world, people do, the voters do vote for the president and not the vice president. Most time, people will vote for the president. When I look at the two leading, based on what we know now, two leading contenders, the CPP candidate and that of Joseph Boyka, what we see here is two different things at play. We cannot discount the fact that Joseph Boyka has age is not too much in his favor. He would probably be around, given which age you believe, probably around 78 to 80 years old by the time he's elected. So age is and health is not in his favor as well. I mean, I know we tend to distort things when people talk about people's health. My mom is 78, almost 77 years old. She walk with King. She MP most of the time. So as you, even we, as individual, will get older. The body doesn't respond the same way it did a couple of years ago. So those are reality. It can't. It's a natural thing. So knowing that, what we have seen with the Boyka team is that he has benched most of his presidency, his presidential bid on his vice president pick, and whoever he chooses as his vice president tend to be, the one that's staying right in line. In God forbid something happen, will be the next president. What surprised me is about Mr. Boyka is the fact that he even thought on Acosta. Henry Costa. Look, I feel vindicated. I've had a history with Costa. He's a good friend. We go way back. Outside of that, personally, when it comes to Liberia, I just don't feel that this young gentleman meet anything to be anywhere near the power. He doesn't have the temperament, the experience.
But well, who told you JB had talked on Costa?
Well, Costa said the video there.
Oh, he talking.
Costa said on his show today.
The men are insider too. The men got insider information.
Well, yeah, no, I saw it with my two abo, koro, I saw it with my two abo,
What video? And I want you the video so I can see it.
The video in the play there, that minute, bring so gonna in that room there.
Hurry up because 6 o'clock coming.
Yeah, they gotta play that video. So
let me tell you something that your former CEO stepchild, he said the whole video. They'll tell you the truth.
I suspect Sonny. But anyway, the video is not important.
They put some video up, but I tell you, when they do that thing, someone calling it for Hebrew biological children and putting it on the platform. Me, I know me, I can drive.
We will let y'all the insider and spill out the beans for us. So
yeah, I get my popcorn, my Benessy.
Y'all eating my 2 million. My 2 million will go in reverse.
Okay, well, finish.
No, let me hurry up. So to my utmost surprise, the fact that Boyka will even have a man at Costa that proximity to power, and I don't blame Costa. Costa got all right. If I'm spending my money, look, the UP is cash stricken. We all know that when Ellen left, she left with all the guys that had the cash, and you cannot win the government with big currency. So when I saw George Weah, especially going after Kun, the man who I think usually Paco will probably confirm tonight that has been chosen by VP Boyka as his running mate. He accused him of being a human trafficker.
Man talk all. Man can talk all. Hey, yeah, sometimes.
Dana ide on the other wall.
Y'all
play the team. The people want here.
Why y'all took that one from there?
You know. So I will before.
Man can talk all. Man can talk all. Hey, yeah, sometimes. Yeah, hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. Pocket man can talk all. Man can talk all.
Make it talk. Me, I will talk the one. Make it talk.
That understand my comment.
The one that he was talking about Kun, that was a very damning something. I listened to Kun, and this is my first time hearing that Kun is a humor. Imagine having a vice president that traffic humor. That means our young children.
Did that happen today?
The video there, man, is a humor.
Everything I did yesterday and today.
I come and say it again. So you can say my
it is organ trafficker, not human.
No,
human
organ
trafficker.
Man can talk all. Man can talk all. Hey, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. Pocket man can talk all. Man can talk all.
I'll put a real video there now. It's there now. Look at it.
Okay, I will. Thank you so much. But I got one more minute, and then
I just put a video there so you can look at it. So when I saw that, it was kind of concerning, So more importantly, vice president is very important because for the kind of politics that will run is very tribal, is regional, and people vote on different things. So what you do not have, you look for it in your vice president, and that's what people do. So even in the West, it kind of happened like that too. But in Liberia, it's evident because of the tribal component. People tend to look for someone that will give them vote. And that's what we're seeing. So when you see the delay, people kind of hold it. But Boyka made this thing about his president. And what the worst thing that VP Boyka did was he became very promiscuous about it. I mean, politically now. He started to tour around different people. We got Willie Kanga, we got the Ure, now Costa. Then he pivot to this gentleman, Kun. So if he leave all the people out, what the backlash is what going to derail his campaign because Young Willie right now, where will she go? Hey, if I could speak of Basa, my Basa still fresh, I would say, Mayu, Yinta, I get Dodi. So
yeah, Senator Yumli Kanga Lawrence.
Oh Lord, this thing.
CDC afraid of me more than anybody else. CDC afraid of me more than the other people there. Somebody both say, who won't be VP? They've been allies with CDC. We don't even trust them. The Jeremiah Kun man that leaking information or paying people to talk nonsense about me. He was there. Y'all want us to attack? Seriously? Y'all want that?
No, cause let's be so. Let's
attack.
No,
let's harvesting human parts, human organs to ship abroad to sell. You want us to talk?
Cause
human organs. You sure?
Let's just remain on this one.
When you talk, then they say, don't even try it.
0770.
Harvesting human cell.
Okay.
That is, I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's not out of my mouth. Let me just give my 30 seconds. So, for me, there's so many things that are going to change now moving forward. All I can say is to people like Young Woody and other guys that feel disenfranchised right now. Go home, yo. Go back to Liberty Party. Your Dumbo and Fufu still there. And go there so you can talk your thing. I'm sure Musa ability. I mean, a lot of people that are willing to something. Go back home. Where your Fufu and Dumbo is. I know that where your heart is. Dylan and all the guys go back home because I'm not surprised. It comes at no surprise, but to have a human traffic car.
I have to move on. It's almost close to 6 o'clock. Thank you very much. Hassan Fadika, I'm just in a state of shock, but I will take my psychology eyes off and continue with the show.
Megan talk all. Man can talk all. Hey, sometimes, hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. Pocket man can talk all. Man can talk all.
Okay.
What is that?
You guys are suffering.
Just go ahead before we go to Honorable Yeka, and then we're
I'm sorry. Before you finish, I have to leave. Sorry. So hopefully I get
woman can talk us. Salamantu will forgive you.
No, woman can talk. So great show, guys, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you for being here, Salimatu. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay. Honorable Fagon. I don't even know where to start. I'll just put it in your lap again.
Put it there. Let me start with Leo. Leo, your propaganda is dead on arrival. And why I say so? You just beyond that thing Costa say about harvesting human parts to send abroad to sell. That ain't you that Costa say. But you repeat it over and over.
Where?
If you are going to agree that what Costa said.
Yeah, don't you go for it. Don't fall for it.
You talking though?
Wait. Don't rush your turn.
No, ask me what that means. You talking?
Wait, why are you rushing? Your turn coming. I want to say Fadiga. Then you jumping.
No, you said Leo.
You Senegalese? Hey, wait, let me talk to my Senegalese cousin. And Fadiga brother, the American, play football, the American playing for the Senegalese national team. If you say Allah, go Google in Niger now. You will see that Fadiga, the same spelling. Now, why I say my brother is running propaganda, unless my brother is willing to say everything that Costa said about Kumis is true. Everything that Costa said about Nyong'ouli is true. Everything Costa have said about all my people are true. Then I will believe him. But Costa can say, this person can do this. You want wrong with it? There's a reason why Costa is doing what Costa is doing. And like Remy Gray said, there was an institution called CPP. Costa went after Cummins as #1 pick, right? He dealt with Cummins, all of y'all that were behind Cummins, y'all dislodged. He looked at nobody's second in line. He dealt with her, she dislodged. He came down, he jumped in front of Kuhn. And that's why Kuhn was smart enough not to put himself in the spotlight because he was never there. You know he was not there. It was Kofi Woods, Alexander Cummins, then Nyong'ouli Kanga, then Kofi Woods. Those were the speculations. Jeremiah Kuhn came lately. So to say the man harvesting him on part, that's a joke. That's a complete joke. Let's go to point 2. Point 2 here is this. Costa said, all the people can make it with me. First and foremost, the reason why Jeremiah Kuhn is a formidable candidate is not because he's in government, self-government, successful businessman, Yana boys, but we know how our elections work. He's supported by the political leader of Nimba County. He himself is also senator. He's also the political leader of majority of Nimba People's Party, the MDR.
And he harvests organ.
No, that your statement or the Costa.
Costa says.
Okay, then leave it now. I reach to Costa here. You ain't see the man taking 8 minutes of my time.
You can tell for that.
So, Madam Moderator, here is why Jeremiah Kuhn, in Costa's view, the reason why Costa took the shock up compared to Cummins, compared to Nyong'ouli. Costa jumped in front, and you all saw it happen in the last 4 days. Here are some of the reasons why. The man was a Yana boy. The man was a wheelbarrow boy. The man was a gas seller, well known. From there, he started selling in drugstore. From there, he went into real estate. He's a businessman. But here is the uniqueness of the man called Jeremiah Kuhn. Jeremiah Kuhn went to school in Basel. He started with New Hope. After New Hope, and anybody wants to challenge me, let them come. After New Hope, he went to demonstration school. After demonstration school, he went to David P.L. Bronsky High School. He speaks Basel fluently more than they you just particular men are saying here.
One more minute.
I went to those schools there. I was very far. I remember those schools that live right near there.
Very far.
We're very far.
Secondly, you see, I see the man taking on 10 minutes.
No, I just tell you.
And you see the man taking it again. Secondly, this man is born between two counties. His father is a Grebo, but instead of coming from Maryland, his father is the Grebo from Sino. From wait, don't interrupt me. Jolopo.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, no, it's serious. The Grebos are spread across Grand Cru, Maryland, River G, and Sino. Now he speaks Grebo fluently, so that Basel and Grebo. His mother is from the Gio side. He speaks Gio fluently. He speaks Mano. So he's not going to campaign and need interpreter. He's speaking to his people. So he is a rich candidate. And if I can say anything to you, he takes Nimba. The fact that he's Grebo, he takes Maryland. He takes Sino, where his father is from. He takes River G, and he takes Grand Cru.
Wow, the election over.
He goes down to Basel.
The language the people will eat.
Okay, but then when you come to the candidates, who has been a Yana boy? Nobody.
If I'm gonna hear the election finish, Jeremiah Kuhn win the election.
So we all cross that issue. Now, that Leo man said that picking a VP candidate is taking too long. Leo is part of the strategy. You do not pick a VP candidate before you build your coalition or alliance.
Okay.
You build your alliance and make sure it's strong, and then from within the alliance, you pick the candidate.
The kind of plow they're making the alliance will scatter before you come together.
You not see the baby here you beating it? You not see the alliance? You not see the baby here you beating it? The baby that come in born your hand, get tea.
I said Jeremiah Kuhn won the election. I don't know why he running to be president, because vice president too small for him. That kind of cloud that he got.
And you see what I'm telling you? And he said the day he appeared on the show, they will call in Pastor, they will call in Grebo, they will call in Mano, and they will call in Dio.
The men finished winning already. What we
okay, Honorable Yeke, your thoughts before we go to the phone lines.
And Kumis
Thank
is
you.
part of the opposition.
I can go ahead now.
Yes, please.
Okay, I think I can be a better vice president. I got my support base all over the country.
I agree. I'm rooting for you.
I can be a better vice president. I got my support base all over the country. I'm the only lawmaker that have been consistent for 6 years. I've never been. And then the records are there. So I think I can be a better vice president. I'm not here to discuss anybody, but I want to discuss myself on this issue. I can be a better vice president to end all the candidates.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Yeke Koluba.
I want Yeke for Yeke can attack no opposition. I love Yeke for that. He will never attack any opposition. He always go for the ruling party.
But the men are opposition. I expect the opposition to start opposition.
And you who now?
Yes, it
I
is now.
Jones in my party that I bureau.
Okay, so it is now 6 o'clock. Nelson, can you please come? Let's go to the phone lines.
Did you see the breaking news by the moderator?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
I want
break that news for us.
I want Slanger said to read it so we can hear what he got to say.
Yeah, that's why I was waiting. When he come in for the closing, then he can
very articulate English.
Yeah, yes. It's sorrowful.
Yes, so we do have a breaking news for you, but stay until the end of the show. You're gonna get it. We got a few more minutes left. I want Liberians now to come and talk to our leaders and to talk to their fellow Liberians. Nelson, please come. I need you to open the phone.
So I can eat my peanut now, right?
Who need people then with that?
You having lunch here with us? Or well, you can have lunch. Then
if
lunch.
I can eat in the capital, but I can also eat on the show.
We know now. You got jokes out. Okay, Nelson. Yes, let Liberian people come and talk to us. Personal greed versus love for Liberia. We talked about that. We also talk about the nature of our president's visit and also the nature of our presidential candidate's visit. One went to Ghana, one here in the United States. So the line is open. They can discuss any of those issues.
Okay, folks, you can call on 077771075 or 055101075. So we take the first call here. Hello.
And after that, we'll take the calls from the diaspora.
Correct. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm calling from Chikisu Factory.
Go ahead, Maurice.
Yeah, thank you to all the panelists and thank you to my brother, my incoming lawmaker, the honorable man from the 10 are going there to go register because yes, for him, for his business.
Oh, Jesus.
So the truth is that, as my brother was saying, attacking the thing we've been talking, attacking each another, attacking the opposition. We are opposition. How will we be united? So we are continuing attacking. As Honorable Fagon was saying just now, because what? Yeke will never attack no opposition. No opposition. All the things we're doing, the people laughing at us. And we are looking after the opposition to see our best to renew the strength of the country. But they are not doing this. And when it comes to the running mate, what you're talking about, the running mate should not be an issue. Or ANC, ANC, what they call they will take the best running mate. That is not the problem. Let it look at until the time we can. We'll see who will get the best running mate or not. But we are all opposition.
Thank you.
Not in front of Gero.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Go ahead.
My name is Dennis. I'm calling from Sarah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the statement from Costa, Henry Costa. Then Henry Costa keeps running. He will keep running, he will not reach where he goes. But what the other caller just said, the opposition attacking opposition is not fine. Our target is to get President we are off.
Okay.
Leave it as it is. The ANC and the Unity Party, that is our party. The Unity Party will go for the ANC, but I know one of them can make a difference and make a possible change.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. You're live.
Yeah, this is Eden Sharif calling from Painesville.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharif.
Okay. First of all, I was very discouraged before when the CPP split because I really wanted for Joseph Boakai and Arizona Communist ticket, but it never worked out. But now what I can say, Arizona Communist and Joe Boakai, all of them, they are opposition and they're running, they're trying to bring George Weah down from the seat. So, even if anyone of them stay for the second round with George Weah, trust me, the Liberian people are tired. We will vote. And about candidates, about Liberia, we will vote for any one of those candidates to get George Weah out. Because I know Arizona Community is capable to run this country as well as Joe Boakai.
Thank you.
Please, I want the panelists to please tell our people to go and vote. It's the only power they got right now to get George Weah out.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Hello, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Josh Williams calling from the Free Pageant Business Center.
Go ahead.
I think the opposition is going for one goal. Whosoever Ambassador Joseph Boakai choose as the running mate, we should all rally around to go and unseat this government. It's not about Costa, it's not about Yumbi, it's not about anybody, it's about that. We want to give our country back from the CDC government. So whoever the person will choose, we should rally around. It can be Costa, it can be Yumbi, it can be we should rally around just to make sure that we will see this government. That's what we're going for. That's our goal. We shouldn't be here pushing around, making arguments, insulting, throwing to our area. It would not be fair for us.
Thank you.
It would not be fair.
Thank you.
2 more calls. Nelson, and then we got to go to Liberia, to the diaspora line.
Okay.
And if Thomas Banker around, please have him come on as well. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Michael Williams, and I join you from Pinsville tonight. I want to thank you guys for the show tonight. My issue is stronger with Henry Costa. His way of politicking is one of the serious problems. From time immemorial, since I know him, when he enters in our political sphere, his politicking is bad. When it's not when it's not in your favor, if it doesn't go his way, he tries to bomb off his friends or try to talk to him against his colleagues. And it's very wrong, the guy. The way you're talking and bomb mopping Jeremiah Kun is wrong.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are not the one to be bomb mopping each other. Our primary goal is to make sure that to get this wicked government over this country. So we don't expect the opposition to be latching at each other, castigating each other. No.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thanks for your contribution. Let's hold it. It's back to you. Okay, we should take one call.
No, that's okay. I got it. That's okay. So we're gonna go to the international line. James Good Day. You want to take that over? Okay.
Welcome. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Frank Gibson, and I call from Paris.
All right, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. Again, I want to congratulate Mr. Leo. He's been one of the most brilliant panelists on this platform. He's very accurate in his analysis, very straightforward, and honest and sincere. He's void of all sentiments like the other panelists. For the issue of job we are traveling to, we all know during the Ellen Johnson at this time that America wanted to set up a base in Liberia. In fact, the West African base of America wanted to show up in Liberia. I think Mr. Gray can speak on that because he was in the security sector. But showing all kind of speculation, Eugene Fago, he's a liar. Everybody knows that.
Okay, that's it. That is it. I'd like to say all of our panelists come with different strengths. We appreciate Leo's presence on this show, but all of our panelists have a diverse knowledge that they bring to.
Say hi to the show. You want to come?
Okay, go ahead. Next.
All right, hi. Your name and where you calling from? What's your name and where you calling from?
I call from Super South Dakota.
Go ahead.
I will be very blunt, and I will speak simple English. The problem we're having the opposition today is the lack of common sense phase one. By the way, I do not belong to any Liberian political party. My political leader is Dustin Kwehegafan. I support Joseph Boakai for now. The problem we have with it that we are having today is simply because two grown men who are supposed to have like where I have refused to come to and understand it because everybody wants to be what both of them cannot be at the same time. Common sense page wants to tell Alexander Cummings that Joseph Boakai is a one-term or half-term president. Cummings got out of the money, he has out of the experience that he can get as a vice president. If you are agreeing to become vice president today, we're not going to be talking who is conspiring, who is not doing this to become president. Omer Boakai has what it takes to take us to remove George Weah. If you make Cummings the head of the ticket today, we cannot remove George Weah. But what it may be, come second round or first round, whosoever becomes the the next person on the ticket to face just drive to support them. But common sense is one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's all. Hello. Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah,
Your name and where you calling from?
I'm Thomas Luna calling from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to extend my greeting to everybody there. Look, I am an opposition figure, but let me be very, very clear. If you guys or if we in opposition are not serious, we shouldn't waste our time. Better we give Joe we are the second thing. I'm surprised today I'm listening to ANC supporters saying that today the VP position is very important. See how you guys are attaching importance to the VP position today. There was the same VP position your Senate Barrow and his other comments condemn saying that the VP position does not have any meaningful power. Today Costa want to become a VP and all of you have problem with it. You guys criticize the VP position saying it's a very dumb position. It has no importance. You are the same people coming up today and attaching huge importance to the VP position. So I think we have to be serious in the opposition. When you guys are ready, we can get going. We are even safe then. We don't have problem.
2 more calls, please. And
All right, thank you. Hello.
2 more and then we're done.
Hello. Your name and where you calling from? Go ahead.
How you doing?
Great, go ahead.
Thank you to the panelists. And firstly, I might congratulate Mr. Fagon, Mr.
Please
Green.
call your name.
My name is Ojibune Utaje.
Go ahead.
Firstly, let me congratulate you all. You guys brought new life to this our show, you know, and to my Baza brother. I know you get my new name, Mr. with Baza name, so that one blood pick one too. So to the point, Mr. Costa is a Liberian, and I don't think we should have problem in the vice presidency letting Mr. Costa get for vice president. There is no education attached to it. There is no age attached to it. You should only be a born Liberian to become a vice president. So I don't think we should have problem with that. If the vice president feel within himself that Mr. Costa can deliver because he kind of old, he doesn't have the speed, the stamina to run the line. Costa can do it. They left with him. It's politics. Our president being here, I think it is good. And I just want to sing a Baza song. Just 1 minute, Madam Moderator. And the song goes like this. We were blocking on Soji Ben, yeah. We were blocking on Soji Ben. Thank you very much.
My man, you need to go practice more.
Last call.
Hold on, man. I'll call so yeah.
I know.
What did they call Soguben?
Yes. My name is Cyrus One. I'm calling you from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
The opposition want to give the current president a real chance. The lead mistake you got made and made Henry Costa, our president Joseph Broca, you got done. Because let me tell you, Henry Costa put more on Arizona Kumi. And he put more on other people. You think Joseph Broca take that man as running mate? Will he win? No. Because all of the opposition at the end of the second round, they'll go for CDC just to see Joseph Broca downfall. If Henry Costa get there, you got done. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to just. Oh, okay. I was just told I could take a few more calls. I've been conscious of time, but the from Liberia just got.
Dr. Steady.
Yes, it's something that we can go ahead.
Hello?
So go ahead, take some more calls, please.
Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is James Davis. I'm calling from Tequila, Georgia. And a couple of things I wanted to point out. First is that the whole idea of the CPP, okay? If you look at the concept of the CPP and you look at the process that was supposed to be followed, it was not followed. You see, the problem is a lot of Liberians say that Cummings should be the vice president, but you see, it's a process that was put in place and agreed upon, and the process was never followed. And that's the problem we have in Liberia. We'll always like shortcut or do things back. So I think that we have to take ownership of that And also, I think the point was made that we have to have Liberia at heart. And all of the personal issues that are going on, I think they can be resolved. But first of all, we have to have people who have Liberia at heart, not just by saying it, but by their actions.
All right, thank you. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Your name and where you calling from?
Huh?
What is your name and where you calling from?
Oh, Abraham calling from New Jersey.
Abraham who?
The you girl.
All right, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, my people, we should not sit and discuss this opposition who want V5 president, who this. We fighting one goal. They take the vice president job, they give it to Kumi and say, no, vice president job too small for him. What you want for the people to do? If they get Yombly, the vice president job, the people they are already haunting Yombly. Yombly she already been haunted. They get case in court. If they put Yombly there, the people will drag Yombly to court. Huh? The vice president judge that leave and the other follow what we have to do. You say you say you don't want the vice president job, so you just leave it. Anyone that they give it to, you go for the president and then forget about it. Vice president, you know, when something happens and you don't want the vice president, we can take the president from there and put me there. That's it.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dodo. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Your name and where you joining us from?
My name is Neil. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Leon who? Please call your full name.
I'm Joseph Bayuga from Minnesota.
Go ahead.
I want you to please do me a favor. After this October 10th, just go work in your people district and leave Liberia alone because Liberia is a joke. We're not ready yet. That's one. Two, the opposition not going to win the election. They're just going to give the election free to George Weah. That's how I see it. Kerry Meda, Henry Costa as vice president, that's a disgrace. So you can call it back. Please just do your people job and stay out of politics. Okay, I beg you. Bye.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I think we're at a good place right now that we can begin to do our closing. But I promised that we had breaking news for you by Diamond Slanger. Diamond, could you please come in? I would also like you to read the publication.
Diamond, no LEC tonight?
LEC there.
We can't see him.
They play dark.
Diamond, please put unmute yourself, brother. Diamond, please unmute yourself.
They call the LEC from school. The former CEO refused to pay the LEC bill.
Now,
LEC is here.
A technical
I'm not really a lover of bright lights.
No technical lie. The former CEO refused to pay the LEC bill.
Okay, so moving right along.
Diamond is home. He's not at the station.
Moving right along, Diamond, could you please again tell us the breaking news?
Let me put lights on.
People to wait. Could you read the breaking news and then we'll go into our closing?
Now, Spoon, no calling the Spoon. The former CEO refused to pay the current bill.
Okay.
I meant to his hustle. He not to the office.
Okay, go ahead, Diamond. Thank you for being here.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so the NEC issued a statement, and I'm using the same device, so I don't know if I will be in the. Yeah, so okay, the statement is there, and I'm straining my eyes to read, but basically, to summarize the statement, they have terminated the temporary employment of Thomas Bryant. At the time he assaulted me, he was then a temporary electoral supervisor for the NEC at the Law Valley School there in Airfield Sinker. So they've done their internal investigation. That was speedy, and I'm sure they've exhausted all of their internal protocols. And with the evidence that was provided, and his contract was subsequently terminated, Dr. Richardson.
Thank you.
And Diamond is disappointing. The second paragraph, they also issue an apology to the Spoon TV network as well as a result of the incident.
Yeah, I do accept the apology, and I'm sure Spoon Network as well have accepted the apology. We cannot condone such acts, and an integrity institution such as the NEC for taking prompt action that is commendable as well. For my swift, thinking to have recorded him, because it could have been my word against his word. And it will be, as people have their own opinions, that the journalist probably insulted the man, or he caused obstruction, or he did something. When I went there, I identified myself. I showed my NEC issue tag. This is the tag, and I was even in conversation with someone else because I asked who was the supervisor. And I was speaking with the supervisor when he just came out of the blue and was like, why are you wasting your time talking to this man? He started using some profane words. I'm like, you're doing a public job. I'm also doing a public job. So if NEC didn't want us to cover this process, they wouldn't have issued tags, and accredited media personnel to go and cover this. He started off, saying a whole lot of things. Next thing I knew, I said, okay, I'll record you because I need this evidence as well. And then post last screen my face. In my jeans, good inflammable voice. In my jeans, good inflammable voice, he gave me one slap.
Tell one.
That one slap. No, you full of fun. But we
No, not only slap, that dirty slap.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Yes.
His supervisor is one Wobo. You heard him say he's a temporary supervisor of NEG, right? His actual job is with the tax business office in Kakata. Do you got, if you get an apology from him, to you as a person, you also willing to forgive him because he works with the LRA. It's established now, but they might take an action against him. So will you forgive him? Are you going to forgive him for everything now?
Mr. Fagon, I already did forgive him, but doesn't mean you cannot go without being punished. That's one thing we tend to mix up in Liberia. When you forgive someone, doesn't mean you cannot be punished. You can be, but you have to be punished, because we do not want such actions being in our public spaces. When you are a public servant, you have a greater responsibility on your shoulders. Imagine if somebody had gone to that stage, that center to register, and they didn't understand the process. Imagine such a person, how he is going to approach that person. His attitude could turn people away from even registering because you're not somebody who's serviceable enough. But again, as I said, one person cannot be the one to tint the entire NEC, and thank goodness we have professional journalists like myself, because I had all right to defend myself. I could have said, okay, let me defend myself, and it would have caused commotion there at the site and obstructed the entire process. So I just exercise restraints. Secondly, he's an older person. You don't want to be involved in such a thing. And I held myself, exercise restraints, and due process has been done. I'm okay, Mr. Fagon. I don't need to give him.
I was only worried the fact that his main job is the tax business office in Kakata. That's his main job. And I'm concerned now with, everybody looking for a job. You already got something doing. Then you come to the election commission side again to can't eat something that you get in trouble. Even though you have created that one space, I'm just concerned if you got a job in Kakata, the LU students that are graduating 7,000, you get your friend a chance to now. Let them eat smart thing. You leave a job in Kakata, you can't do election commission job, they catch you. I'm tired, man.
Okay.
Maybe that go move from behind, but Megan talk all. Yeah, maybe that go move behind, but Megan talk all.
Megan talk all. Man can talk all. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. What can man can talk all? Man can talk all.
Okay, let's move on to our closing. I also want to state the Front Page Africa has a comment here about Custer. He made a statement. I'd like to read that. I'm hearing echoing my voice. It says, Henry Costa breaks silence over purported murmurs over VP to Buckeye's chatters. And it says in quotation, if JNB picks me, it will be the will of God. If Joseph Buckeye picks me, it will be the will of God. I didn't, he said, initiate the discussion for my name to be on the radar for VP Buckeye. But there are Liberians, home and abroad, who are craving for this ticket. Henry P. Costa said on his ambition to be running mate to Buckeye. This is in the front page Africa news that I'm reading to you. Pick it up and get more information. All right, let's go to our closing comments. I will then go to Colonel Gray to start. Actually, let's go to Honorable Yeke, please, because he's using his data and is here as our guest today, guest contributing panelist today. So, Honorable Yeke Kolba, could you please do your closing, please?
Thank you. I call it on our supporter in Liberia to move into district number 10. District number 10 have been declared Republic of Liberia. So you need to come and do your voter registration there, because the election in district number 10 is between George Weah and Yeke Kolba. So we'll see who can victor in October. And there's a challenge. There's a challenge for MCC, the CDC to be using the MCC security. I give the evidence to Flumo. I don't know why he didn't put it up today. You see the MCC security they be holding them to the Muslim school to do that. I think CDC shouldn't be doing that. That is okay for our democracy. The election law say anywhere you register, anywhere you vote. So I appreciate them. I wanted to bring more people so the challenge can be on, so we can see who win the challenge in October. And let me say to the Liberian people that the police have started taking some action on the police academy. Since I spoke on Spawn last night, they have taken prints from the police academy. They have changed a lot of people because the people that were vetted for the training, they took most of them away and using and replaced them with seditions. They are trying to correct that now. And I think in my mind is wrong to be recruiting malicious on the police academy to brutalize and go after the opposition is wrong. We call it on the international community to get involved because the election violence is going to be too much. And when we get to that, we are going to defend our political leaders and protect our political leaders and protect ourselves. Let me say thank you for the show. I will be available at any time to come on the show to make some clarity and make my input on the show. I'm very, very tired. I need to go sleep. I need to go eat my peanuts and my banana. So I see.
Say some for me. Honorable Yeke, please say some lunch for me. I will talk to you later.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here and supporting us.
I got it.
Okay, I want to now turn our yes, huh? I'm gonna now turn our attention to Colonel Gray. Colonel Gray.
All right, great show today. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll go to you next. Go ahead,
Okay.
Gray.
I still believe that if we didn't have the US in that collaboration that was formed by people who were well intentioned, to include may so rest in peace, to include Honorable Bromskin, we would have had a formidable opposition today where we'll be seeing each other as one alliance. But we brought in people who put their ultra ego, their self-aggrandizement above the interests of the nation. Everybody else is not qualified. Either that individual is a finger off document. I like the idea that somebody was able to see some mental, imbalances somewhere there, especially the way you ought to sometimes look. Some of us have background also in mental health. But I'm not going to go that way because, in my opinion, I'll be, making the point that I'll not be making the point I want to make. The fact about it is everybody else is not qualified, but this particular individual, you understand, who is now thinking that that's the choice that Liberian people want. What is so damning about this is that he has ruffled and bad-mouthed and besmirch other people, decent people, who are only trying to seek the leadership of Liberia just like anybody else. After that, nobody else is qualified. Now you say, oh, that's the Liberian people are looking up to this ticket. I don't think the Liberian people are looking up to that ticket. the Liberian people are still looking at an alliance between Ambassador Boakai and Alex Cummings. They want that, in my opinion. If nothing good came out of the CPP, I think that was that alliance people are hoping for. And again, I'll make the point that the stalling of this people picking their VPs because they still feel that those two people can come together, because this menace we call the leadership over our head, we just want it. It's like a nightmare wanting to go away. So we don't want anything to cast aspersion or doubt. That's why people are opting for that
Very
alliance
sensitive,
between
right?
the old man and of course and Cummings. But I still believe they can see eye to eye. Maybe if not now, maybe in the future. They should by
Thank
virtue of what we want as a people, they should see eye to eye.
Thank you. Leo, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, kunanu na kulenu mang ngaba moy para ushu parinve katane ngakaka na kava guyo ngakava ngaka so ngaba moy para ushu vodi mang no ka moy
So we can speak Basa now. All of you want to be there too.
Vodi
Leo,
mang
thank you for speaking Pele, yeah.
Vodi mang no ka moy kaluna ka fa she ka po brela kaluna ka tona janaka na kama voter ID nyawo da ba de ka po Janeba ya kaba lila ageka voti mernga so ka fa shaka po brela nga you know pala woshu age kulenu kunanu kushawa na ageka kele poka ngaka so ka fa shaka po brela kaluna voti ID no da moy janlele ipe chakaba kema na ba de ipo age voti ma pa kaba ke ye nyawo ya ba lila age voti mernga ka so kukele poku kwaku yepu gema kuku wopu gema ageku ti panga Liberia ma many ma nganuanga. Okay. So that was for my Pele people there on the other side. By the way, Fadiga, you can speak Basa. Me, I can read Pele as well. I don't want to speak it. I can also
Look at it.
Anyway,
Thank you, Mr. Josie. Look at that.
Thank God to the Lutheran Church. I was as young as 13 when I started reading. So thank God for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. But here's why I will actually say a few things. I've heard this whole argument about Cummings and Boakai collaborating. What I haven't heard, no one has told me yet that Boakai, because I listen to Alexander Cummings a lot. Alexander Cummings did not reject an offer from Boakai. Alexander Cummings has always said he didn't join or run to be vice president. He wants a process in place, and that process should determine the outcome. I haven't heard yet that VP Boakai called Cummings, where they sat down and an offer was made to Alexander Cummings for VP Boakai to say, I want you to be my vice president. And Cummings said no, number one. Number two, when they joined the CPP, they didn't join the CPP for Omer Boakai to tell Cummings they can be my vice president. They joined the CPP and laid out a process that would have determined who becomes a standard bearer, and the standard bearer would have then picked whoever they wanted to be their VP. So up to this point, it's a bit surprising when I hear everybody talking, oh, Cummings don't want to be Boakai VP or he won't collaborate. If I were them, if I were VP Boakai, I would have had a serious offer to say, Cummings, I know you're not running to be VP, but it's CPP business. Let's get it clear. I want to be president, and I'm hoping, can we collaborate? Here is an offer. Let's Cummings reject the offer. For Cummings people, your lead fighting the people being able, the CPP scattering. The CPP did not scatter. Cummings said he kept it back together. He remained there. Instead of chasing everybody to blame of who scattered the CPP, focus on where it has to go now. Alexander Cummings said he's running to be president, and he's kept his CPP intact. The focus should be, how do we make this work? What are the challenges we must overcome? But this continuous argument, in my opinion, about what could have happened with the CPP, what couldn't have happened if Boakai were there, Boakai were not there, that ship sailed. If they ever come back together, hallelujah. At this point, it doesn't look like it. So it is time for people to focus on, you want to win election. You don't want to blame all the people that are crying, all the people that knew may you not to the place you're supposed to be now. Focus on what matters. Stop fighting the other people. Put your agenda before the Liberian people and run with it, because that's what the Liberian people want to hear. The final thing I will say, if you all say VP pick is not important, Joa Howard Taylor changed the dynamics for President George Weah as a VP, number one. Number two, I would say this: anybody campaigning that is not a vice presidential candidate don't carry the same weight. Someone who step on a soil and say, I am the vice president to the person, are your son or your daughter, carries a lot of weight with their people because they hold a strategic leadership position. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go now to Fariga for your closing.
Well, rarely do I agree with Leo, but I must say I'm almost agree with him 100%. He already laid out for me, made it so easy. Honestly, the elections, so many things happened today, and the first thing is the notion that the vice president job is waiting. The presidency is waiting for Joseph Boyka, and everybody else should fall in line. That is just, I don't even know what kind of adjective to use to describe that kind of thinking. It's just so wrong. I mean, some of you don't even have ambition. Come on, what kind of human being born and just say I was born to be vice president? This man has a big heart. It is his right to be president. The vice, you see, this is what destroyed the entire CPP. The Unity Party was already done when it came, and we disguised their name and they resuscitated. They came into this thing as a coronation exercise for Joseph Boyka. They came to crown him as the king. They did not come with any expectation to feel that they will fight for anything. So when they found out that it was not going to happen, or it didn't seem likely to happen, they grow what Ure came with his gossip. Let's not forget, we had a good thing going on until Ure came with gossip that somebody from the Unity Party and USA let gossip too. Because all the things I see, Ure have been involved in so many, he has told so many gossip, you know. Like he heard someone from NEC that say, he said, look how petty that is. These are people that are leaders. He did not come with any intention of running to be anything. This was a scheme that was plotted way back. Ure came in, he said, I want to be president. Oh, I got no intention to be president. Indirectly, I came to support my man. So in a team of four, where you have to choose a majority carry the rule, Ure came to something that was a unique purpose. So that means Ure and the whole Costa team, it was already playing way in the background. So for someone to come and say, oh, let's get Joseph Boyka, look, if you want to be a president, you have to fight for AIF to say your life depends on it. That is the highest position in the land, and you have to fight for it. It's not a coronation exercise. You say, you know what? And then now, so that my own time. This is change politics. What do you have to offer? We have given the Unity Party 12 years. Let's be frank. They had 12 years to show the Liberian people what they could do. Did they do it? That is all for the Liberian people. We got another group that have been there for 6 years. So I would take, if I'm taking, like I said, I won't tell you who to vote for. I can tell you who not to vote for. If you have problem in identifying who not to vote for, you know what the other people have done. I will never take chance with people that broke down no car, squander different opportunities, 16 billion foreign direct investment, and we cannot see anything in the country commensurate those $16 billion investment in the country. I mean, and the list go on, the list of corruption and something. We lived through that to 12 years. If I want to take chances, so the only thing way forward for the opposition, look, we keep taking the easy way out. And that is the problem. It doesn't matter if George Weah win. One of the things that people say to me,
Mr. Falcon, I mean,
it doesn't matter if this president wins. It doesn't matter if George Weah win again. Seditions are Liberians. Liberia will not win, it will not die. But we need to stop this chance politics and find the right person to lead that country forward. The notion that, oh, we got to do the things, take the lesser evil. Now, lesser evil got out yet. So we need to find the right person that can move that country forward. If Boyka is not that person, let us find the right person. Even if we have to lose an election, you know.
Thank you. So I'm gonna say my thoughts for the day, and then Honorable Falcon will take us home. The first thing I have is I would like for our public servants, including the President of the United States, and those who I consider public servants as well, those who are running to be leader for our country, to please keep us updated in terms of their traveling plans. Please put your information on the e-mansion so that we can know. We want to be informed. We are in the business of, keeping Liberians informed about what is happening.
And provide your coverage as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes. The second thing I want to let's be clear here, with all of the talks about vice presidential pick, it has not happened yet. We have not had none of the presidential candidates come out and say, this is who I'm picking. So I want to make sure Liberians know that this has not happened yet. We are also, talking about the hypothetical situations that have been happening because many people have been bringing their names up. We hope that when it happens, when this vice presidential pick happened, I personally hope that, that this person should be of good standing in our country, should have at least made some kind of contributions to our country. You shouldn't be there just because, you fun or whatever, be there because you are the heartbeat from the presidency. If anything happens, you should be able to take the position and work from day one. You should be able to hit the job running. I also want to talk about the issue of trust, making sure that the person who is selected as a vice presidential pick, that the president can trust this person, okay? That this person will be able to talk to the president. Like, we understand that our vice president, Bokar, was the last person in the room with Ellen, but we have not yet heard exactly what was discussed, or if she really trusts him. We also see with Vice President Joe Howard and there was some tension in their relationship early on. We see that has been fixed, but I think when there's tension within the president and vice president relationship, it causes some delay in the development of our country. My last thought is go and register to vote, despite all of the challenges that we're having right now. We know there was a lawsuit taken to the Supreme Court by CPP. We're still getting more information on that, and as it unfolds, we'll tell you. But at this point, NEC has the registration centers open. It's taking long to register. There's long lines, but go ahead and register to vote. I'm also want to speak to the diaspora Liberians. Go home. Go. It will cost us money, yes, but let's go and participate in the process. We want you to vote eventually, October 10, 2023, for someone who can change the path of our country. All the number business we are hearing, you, the voters, that you the numbers. You the one who the number, okay? You are the one who can make the numbers speak for development as opposed to popularity. So on that note, I put it on again, Honorable Falcon lap so he can run with us home. Go ahead, Honorable Falcon.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Quickly, thanks to all of you. Thanks to our peace-loving people in the Republic of Liberia. You guys are our true heroes. You guys are our people. We work for you. Let me start by saying Liberia has become a serious security threat to the United States. Whenever you have drugs of such huge quantity being trafficked through a little country like Liberia, 100 million, 40 million, you know definitely proceeds from such sale will wind up in the wrong hands, and drugs through Liberia will be on the streets of the United States. Secondly, those monies falling in the hands of terrorists could be a serious national security threat to the United States. How can the U.S. not understand that? When you bring in high-power rifles and weapons or what have you in a catch, and you cannot properly account for it, it's a security threat to the United States if it lands in the wrong people's hand. If you train people on our military bases and you don't have jobs for them, with Wagner in Burkina Faso, Wagner in Mali, and somehow we're understanding Guinea and other places, those people can be recruited for actions against the U.S. Corruption. Arbitrary killings of our citizens could lead to uprising. Liberia right now remains the only bastion of hope with the spread of the Russian Wagner group. So I hope the United States have taken note and will take the appropriate course of action. On the issue of picking a VP, I think most of the people who think we should rush as opposition to picking, I say we, because I'm opposed to President Weah presidency 2024. So I now put myself in the position as being opposed to him. If you think you're not going to build a house, get a house ready and everything, living room, dining room, and you're just going to go buy sofa, washing machine, dryer, all that kind of thing, you're wasting your time. I think VP Boakai is focused on building a strong alliance. And I don't think anybody should be jealous of that. Why would you want to pick your VP before building an alliance? You have to build your alliance before picking your VP. Have you seen the alliance? I argue no. Is the alliance being formed? Very, very formidable. Will you see the alliance? Yes. And will you see a VP? Yes. Are we in a VP picking competition? I say no. Last but not the least, I know somebody who has picked a VP and has gone with a coalition that will be rejected in the coming weeks by NEC. Why? Because they don't have the complete signatories. And if they do, it's not valid because they did PP. Again, they don't have a coalition. And to Madam Vice President, the current Vice President, I said to you, Fango can see what Fango wants to see, and Fango can know what Fango wants to know. Madam Vice President, I'm quoting you in a comment. Madam Jua Howard Taylor is not representative of the Spoon Network, but I'm looking on my screen. Only remember these words, quote, "No, dear, if no signature, no distribution," unquote. I gave you the second quote, Madam Vice President. "I'm sorry, dear," quote, quote, "I'm sorry, dear, I will not squander the money and get into trouble. No signatures, no fund," yeah, unquote. If you think those two statements, in your mind, you know where they're from. This is Spoon Network. I'm Eugene L. Fangon. So at the end of the day, picking a VP is not a competition. It is a privilege, and sometimes you can say the right of the candidate. But to the Liberian people, all the people that you see saying now here, with the exception of Leo, who speaks Pele fluently, advancing library, who say he independent. I don't know about him. I don't know about Colette. As for good depart, open the closet many times, so he's a closet back. That's all I can say. Even Migre, Dr. Francine, all these people, we all have our opinions here. We may take a side, we end up voting, but I don't think we hate anybody. I just think we do a piece of job for everybody. Sometimes it gets heated, that's the game. But we love each other here, we joke a lot, and to hear Leo speaking Pele, I know that Bong has fallen to the opposition. Thank you all. And look at it, man. Clearly has said, they were not putting the library, Leo. Don't be scared. Why are you scared of? But again, my final closing is the United States government must take the purpose of the president's visit.
Yeah, please hold on for just 3 minutes, everybody. Please, just 3 minutes. Yeah, Flaco, continue. Hey, you know everybody, places, continue.
Okay. So
I get information on you.
They're good at that.
I'm coming down. I just say, please don't go. I'm coming.
Play your information so I can respond.
You muted.
No, I yield my time so I can collect it later. He said I'm going to hold on 3 minutes. So I will hold on. I hold you on.
We're waiting for you.
I will tell you that Loma, man.
And I will tell you a day, man. I'm the lead tribe in the whole country.
Loma, everybody come speak that Tala here today.
The man want to play on the Loma. When you hear speaking there.
Loma Giti Afabesi.
Hey.
Loma Giti Afabesi.
They're correcting you, Loma.
He's not even saying that he should not go there. He's far from what I said. Okay. That is why I wanted to pull out Minister Fagon.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Vavaje, go ahead.
No, dear, if no signature, no distribution. I don't want to put that. I don't want to put that. Put any other thing that will catch you for espionage. And I'm warning you.
Yeah,
so take it down.
So we'll extend on this topic tomorrow. We just want to give you guys a piece.
No, hey, take it down, my man. Don't spoil my show tomorrow. Take it down.
All right.
So you see, let me tell you something. Sometimes when you're here all talking about pay to
Man
play,
can't talk all.
Man can talk all. Man can talk all. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. Walker, man can talk all. Man can talk all.
On that note, woman can talk.
Yeah, woman can talk all.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can speak Loma, you got to be, don't do it.
I can speak Loma, I can speak some Loma. I'm not as fluent like I can speak.
Okay, try it, man.
Okay.
I can speak some better. He run away, he knows.
Let me call library in Loma. Let me call library. You call library in Loma. How do
you call library in your
Man can talk all. Man can talk all. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Hey, man can talk all. Yeah, man can talk all. Man can talk all. Walker, man can talk all. Man can talk all.
So folks, we want to say thank you so much tonight for following the program Spoon Talk. Yes, of course, the biggest thing on the radio and online in terms of talk show, intellectual exchange, of course, the provision of authentic information. My name is Nelson Colette, James Goodday Flomo here. The invitation is yours to join the show tomorrow. Until that time, have for yourselves a good night. Bye-bye.
You want to know what is happening more of